Good morning. I'm the Special Master for Code Enforcement for today's hearing. I want to begin by telling you how the process is going to work. Generally, we hear building cases on the code agenda first, then the city will call the cases as they appear on the agenda. If you have appeared at today's hearing, your case will be called before those where no one has appeared. That's only true if you have signed up, so if you haven't signed in, please check with one of the code officers in the rear of the chamber. Once your case is called, I'm going to ask that you will come down and appear at my podium on my right-hand side. The city will put on its testimony and evidence first, after which you'll have an opportunity to review this evidence and ask any questions of any of the city's witnesses. You will also have the opportunity to testify and present me with any of your evidence. Once I have all the testimony and evidence, I will make a ruling. I will also enter a written ruling either today or you'll receive a copy of it over the next few days. If you have any questions as we go through the process, please feel free to ask them. This is not a formal courtroom. The formal rules of evidence do not apply here. Although this is not a formal courtroom, all testimony today is taken under oath under penalty of perjury. So if you're going to testify or you think you might testify or there's a possibility that you might testify, I'm going to ask that you stand and raise your right hand so that I can swear you in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida?
Yes, sir.
Please be seated. The city can call their first case.
First case number 1, 330 Clematis Street, 110, CE 22110099, number 1.
Good morning. My name is Ryan Brown. I'm Chief Plumbing Inspector, City of West Palm. The address where this violation occurred is at 310 Clematis, Unit 110. I issued a violation red tag on November 3rd for a commercial remodel with building, electric, mechanical, and plumbing, work without permits or inspections. The notice of violation was mailed, certified mail and regular mail on January 27th. Was posted also at City Hall on 1/27/2023. Was posted on the property on 1/27/2023. The certified mail was delivered. It was left at the front desk on 1/30/2023. I took pictures, which are up there. Those are the ones that I've taken. Since then, since I've taken those pictures and posted everything, they have not communicated, reached out, applied for any permits, or requested any type of inspections. The building has sat vacant since then. There are permits required for that work, without a doubt. I do have a copy of the notice of violation in my file, and I also have a copy of the posting. We're asking for $200 a day after 30 days.
I'm sorry, you're asking for $200 a day in how many days?
After 30 days.
After 30 days.
Thank you. Inspector Brown, just a couple of questions. Just to make the record clear that you're talking about 330 Clematis Street, Unit 110. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. And just to make the record clear, you have an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes.
And the photographs that are in the file, are those a truthful and accurate depiction and representation of what you observed at the property?
Yes.
What is it that you observed that led you to believe that there were alleged violations on this property?
There was a bunch of debris out front, and when we went inside, me and another inspector, we witnessed them installing the electrical, plumbing. There was some mechanical modifications, framing, etc.
Okay. And do you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time?
I believe it's more than enough. Yep.
I'm sorry?
I believe it's more than enough,
Okay.
at least to apply. I mean, if they had actually applied, then it would take them longer to get through plan review, etc. But they haven't made any action at all.
Okay.
Have you had any contact with this owner?
Nope. They have not reached out. I have posted it. Somebody has taken the posting down, but they have essentially abandoned it.
Did they at least cease work when you put the red?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
So I mean, under that, I would assume that they've been notified. Otherwise, they would have a business running if they continued working. But the person I handed the red tag to that day said he would communicate with the owner. They have an identical business down in the Miami area. They were trying to duplicate it up here. I have no idea what their intentions are at this point.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, stop work order, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence, the city's composite exhibit 1. So this property is at 330 Clematis Street, 110.
Yes, sir.
All right, in case CE 22110099, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 105.1, 110.3, specifically building electrical, mechanical, and plumbing without a building permit or without the required inspections. I give the respondent 30 days to bring the property into compliance or fine of up to $200 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Number 17, 939 28th Street, CE 22080379. Number 17, 939 28th Street.
For anybody that's coming up to any of these kiosks, for everybody that's coming up to the kiosks, can you make sure that the microphone is near where you're speaking?
Good morning. Inspector Attilio Belisle for the City of West Palm Beach. This is for code case CE 22080379 for 939 28th Street. The violation I observed was windows, doors, mini split, air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, and a tiki hut without a permit. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on 1/31 of 23. It was posted at City Hall at 1/31 of 23 and was posted at the property at 1/31 of 23. The certified mail was in transit as of 2/7 of 23. The observation I observed was the windows, the doors, mini split AC, plumbing, electrical, tiki hut installed without permits. On August 22nd of 22, a stop work order was issued and the tiki hut appears to be placed in between two separate properties between 939 and 947 28th Street. There has been progress made by the property owner before us here. That's by removing the electrical from the tiki hut. However, there is no progress made for the permits to be obtained for the mini split AC windows, doors, and electrical, nor the plumbing. The permit and inspections are required. Permits have not been applied for. Inspections have not been performed for any of the new work. Included in my file is a notice of the violation. The pictures that you see before you, I have taken and posted as city record. Included in my file is an affidavit of posting. The city is recommending 60 days and $50 a day after that.
I'm sorry,
60 days
and 30,
and $50 a day.
sorry. Just a couple of questions, please. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations
Yes,
that you observed at the property?
they do.
And do you believe that 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes.
And with respect to, can you just tell us briefly, you said you saw a tiki hut. What is it about the air conditioners, the electrical, the windows, and the doors that led you to believe that they were something that had been installed without permits? What led you to believe they were newly there? Or
Originally, I was sent there for the electrical and by the fire marshal, showing that there was occupancy commencing on the property for the tiki hut. And since then, they've removed the electrical from the tiki hut. However, properties 939 and 947 are not, they're not a unity of title. They're right now shown as two separate properties, and the tiki hut appears to be directly in the middle of the two properties.
And with regard to the mini split, you believe that that's a new
Yes.
system or new
It's
equipment?
a new install.
Okay, and what was it about the windows and doors that led you to believe that they were something new?
The windows and doors have been replaced due to, I guess might have been some vandalism. The property owner discussed with me that he needed to secure the property. But he was unaware that the permits were required. I'm working diligently with the property owner here, trying to get this resolved.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, stop work order, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as city's composite exhibit 1. Anything further from the city?
No, that's it.
Special Magistrate, do we need to ask the respondent whether he has an objection?
I'm sorry?
Do we need to ask the respondent whether he has an objection to the evidence submitted?
Fair enough. Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Joseph D. Stephan.
Mr. Stephan, what is your relationship to the respondent in this case? JD Realty Palm Beach, Inc.?
That's my business, yes. That's my company.
Sir, do you have any objections to the documents the city would like to put in evidence?
No, I have no objection.
All right, without objection, those documents are in evidence. Sir, so can you tell me what's going on? Is this your tiki hut?
So, yeah, so I had a tiki hut installed. I was under the impression that permits were not needed for a tiki hut if it remained a tiki hut. I learned later that if you add anything such as electrical, et cetera, then that changes. So I had my electrician we basically just put lighting up in the ceiling. But I had my electrician remove, and that case, I guess, has been either revoked, that permit's been revoked is what it's called. When I purchased, I never actually purchased, I foreclosed on this property. I have a picture of what the property looks like prior to my foreclosing on it. If anyone knows this neighborhood, you know, you probably wouldn't go back there after 5 o'clock at night 2 years ago. There were probably, any given time, there were 15 abandoned cars on the streets, and crime was pretty high. What I'm doing is I'm turning this area into, at least my 5 contiguous properties, into an arts and entertainment area. The people from Northwood have been coming over and enjoying the space that I've created. It's been a massive, massive endeavor. When I was working on the property the first year, I don't think I saw a code enforcement officer. Once everything was completed, they began driving around the neighborhood and citing all my properties. Attilio has, reached out and been helpful, but at the same time, it's been an onerous process to try to get everything in compliance, because once I removed 939, I removed about 30 cars and 200 tires and trash as high as 10 feet. The previous owner didn't want to leave. I felt unsafe, and I went in and I secured everything. I had my contractor secure it with the doors that you saw and with windows, which there were no windows on the sides. And then I did have a mini split. The mini split is in the process of getting permitted. The contractor wasn't registered with the city of West Palm, so it's taken an extra week or two, I guess. But what I just want to tell everyone here is that I'm working diligently to get all my permits and everything done under compliance and proper code. But it's a massive endeavor, and I need the city's help. I've been given 60 days. I don't know what 60 days means, because I know that there's a lot of back and forth. I've submitted plans for another building, and we're still in the back and forth process, and we're at 3 weeks now. So I fear that I'm going to get to the 60-day point, and if it's for applying for permits, that's one thing. If it's to get all these things resolved, that's another. I'm going to give you, for instance, on the plumbing. When I flushed the toilet, the plumbing would not.
Hold on one sec.
Yeah.
Let me see if we can clarify that up. So, what is it that the respondent needs to do to bring? So we're only talking. This case is solely about this tiki hut, right?
It's regarding the tiki hut and the mini split and the windows for 939, exclusively just 939. The mini split, that should be pretty simple, a turnaround permit. These mini splits are not really that complicated. They're pretty much an in and out. It's not going to take 60 days to release
the
it.
mini split is related to the air conditioning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he needs a permit for the air conditioning. So that's the one thing, right?
Yes.
So one is the permit for the AC. So
Mhm.
what else does he need to do?
The permit for the windows and doors.
Okay, and there was
And then As far as the tiki hut goes, for 939, it looks and it appears to be on the property lines between 939 and 947. I think the overall goal, Mr. Joe is here, has described to me that he's planning on making this one big, large arts and musical area. If there's a way that he can justify that tiki hut being right there on the two properties, maybe doing a unity of title to make that tiki hut combined, because right now it looks and it appears to be sitting right in between the two properties, which are two separate entities right now. One owner, but they're two separate property addresses.
Okay, so the concern about the tiki hut as of right now is its location?
Yes.
Does he need a building permit for the tiki hut?
If it was constructed by the Seminole tribe, no permit is required if there's no electric, no plumbing, and no AC and stuff like that installed into it. But if his intent is to put, the plumbing and electrical and stuff in there to make it an outside bar, he can do that. It's just he has to get the proper permits.
That's not my intent.
So if his intent is to leave it the way it was, if it wasn't on the property line, would the city have a problem with it?
Say that again?
If his intent was to leave it the way it was without electricity or plumbing, and it wasn't in the location it's in, would he be in compliance?
Yes. That would be a zoning question. I couldn't tell you because it is on the property lines between the two properties.
Seems to me that's a different code section, though. That would be, because he's being cited for failure to obtain a building permit and required inspections. But the issue with the tiki hut is one of location, not building permits, no?
They recently just removed the electrical, so it was in violation because there was electrical in the hut.
Yeah. What I'm trying to figure out is what is it necessary for him to comply with the code sections he's being assessed here.
Okay.
Well, I think the tiki hut, if the electrical was removed, there's no
violation.
further code issue for here, but the gentleman may need to, contact zoning.
Yeah, so if you're following the conversation I'm having with the code officer and the city attorney, is I'm trying to understand so that I can instruct you what it is that I would violate you for, right? In this particular case, the two relatively easy ones are you need a permit for the split AC and you need a permit for the windows. I think you're in agreement that those are things that need to be done. I think the city's offering to give you 60 days to do that. I think that's actually a pretty fair time frame that the city's offering there. The issue with the tiki hut is a little more complicated. My understanding, at least under the code, is that you would need a permit if it had plumbing and electricity, and if you want to do that, you're going to need a permit. I believe, if I understand the officer's testimony correctly, without that, you don't need the permit. The city is concerned, however, that in its location, it's not appropriate, but that's not the particular code section they have at issue here with you. So you can come into compliance with these by obtaining the appropriate inspections, though I don't know what the city is going to do about the location, but I suspect that there might be a code violation depending on setbacks and where it is consistent with different properties, if you understand.
I read about the setbacks. There's no setback in the industrial area, but I'm not right on the
Yeah,
road.
I don't know what the violation is associated with the joining of two separate properties. That's probably a conversation you should have with the officer. But at least in my understanding, that unless the city's in disagreement, unless my understanding is the gentleman would be in compliance with these sections by getting the two permits for the AC and the windows.
There should be some sort of conversation had about the location of the tiki hut in relation to the neighboring property. I know he owns the neighboring property, but if that property was to sell, right now there's a tiki hut in between the two properties.
I can work with you, Inspector, in terms of, talking with zoning and making sure to include Mr. DeStefano in that conversation. And
Thank
then the permits we're talking about still, the AC, which is still electrical for that.
Yes,
Windows and doors.
yes.
All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find the violation exists. I'm going to give you 60 days to bring into compliance with these two. I'm going to ask in the order that you have a sit down with the city to discuss the disposition of the tiki hut, but I can't require him to get a permit for something that doesn't require a permit. So I'm not going to make that a provision of this particular order. But hopefully you and the city can figure out how to do the tiki hut in a way that is consistent with the city codes. All right. All right, in case CE 22080379, make the finding of facts and conclusions of law that there is a violation on the property and notice is good and sufficient. The violations constitute failure to secure building permit for the split mini AC and the windows and doors, and failure to obtain the required inspections under 110.3 and 105.1. Respondent has 60 days to bring those in compliance, or a fine up to $50 per day may issue. I further order the respondent and the city to have a discussion about the proper disposition of the tiki hut and what would be required to have it lawfully under the city code.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 18, 2032 North Dixie Highway, CE 22090225.
Good morning. Inspector Attilio Belisle for the City of West Palm Beach. This is for code case CE 22090225 for property located at 2032 North Dixie Highway. Violation I observed is the interior and exterior alterations being performed to the gas, electrical, mechanical building after a stop work order was already issued on this property. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on 1/31 of 23, as posted at City Hall on 1/31 of 23, and was posted at the property on 1/31 of 23. The certified mail was delivered on 2/6 of 23. The property had already been cited for the renovations to the building without permits. And when I was doing a reinspection of the property, I noticed that they had not obtained any of the permits required by the Florida Building Code. They've actually closed up a lot of the walls and continued work regardless of the stop work order placed on the property. For the interior and exterior, the original stop work order was issued on April 12th of 22. The work that I observed was still in progress as of, let me see, 2/6 of 23. No attempt has been made to address the failed plan review comments that are in the system. I've had numerous conversations with the workers on site, letting them know that they have a stop work order and they need to obtain the permits, but it seems like there's different contractors at different times that I've come in contact with, and I don't think nobody's communicating back to the owner in regards to the permits that are required.
So they're still working despite the fact that you issued a
Yes.
stop work order?
The permit and inspections are required. The pictures you're seeing here were accurately taken by myself. There have not been any permits issued. No inspections have been commenced. They do have a permit number of 23010810 for the plumbing, permit number 23010554 for the commercial miscellaneous, and permit number 22041189 for the commercial remodel. However, those permits have not been issued. The city's recommending 60 days and $250 a day after that.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, which permits do they apply for?
They've applied for the plumbing, miscellaneous commercial, and the commercial remodel.
Is that sufficient, or do they need?
No, they still need electrical, they still need mechanical, they still need, I believe, the gas permit, I believe, still needs to be issued. They have not communicated with me in their proceeds of trying to get this permit issued for any of them. I wish somebody would reach out to me so that we can get this resolved, because the workers are continuing to work.
Well, that's not good.
And there is people living in the building while they're doing this construction.
Thank you. Inspector Belisle, a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes,
Do the photos that we've been reviewing truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations you observed at the property?
yes,
You mentioned that there's a previous case. Did that go to hearing, or what is the status of that for the?
It's still, I believe it's going to be receiving fines. Felicia, are you able to look up that address? It's 2032 North Dixie Highway, and see if there's any fines running currently on it. $250 a day. I'm unable to see that. Is there already a fine running?
Yes.
184 days?
At present, it's $46,000. It's been 184 days at $250 a day.
And would that would have been for the underlying items and areas that you just talked about? Was
Yes.
that accurate? Okay. And so what you're asking for now is a different code section than we normally see?
Yes, I issued section 115.3. That's a work proceeding after a stop work order has been issued, the violation of the City of West Palm Beach amendments.
Okay. Very good, thank you. And do you believe that 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring this particular alleged violation into compliance?
Yes.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, the current case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, the permits cited, the underlying case documents, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence of city's composite exhibit 1. So why did you bring it under 115.3 instead of 105.1?
105.1 had already been cited on the previous code case. For, I believe if you look up the previous case, I believe I cited 110.3, 105.1, 109.4. See that the 107.1, I cited those already on the previous case. This is in regards to the works proceeding after the stop work order was issued per City of West Palm Beach amendments to the Florida Building Code, sections 115.3. And they're continuing to do work.
And no point have they reached out to you at all, huh?
No. They did, however, reach out to the, I think the building plans examiner, requesting to stucco the building because they had some water issues penetrating the building and the structure, trying to abate any kind of damage that's going to further be created. I don't think that that's a wise idea to let them proceed because none of the work had been inspected. But they are still proceeding. There are still workers inside, electricians. I was there the other day, and they're completing the job.
Inspector Belisle, do you also feel at all under this particular case, in these circumstances, that 60 days might be even longer than something that should be given? Do you think that something shorter under the circumstances, because they've continued to do the work and they've obviously had
Yes.
100 and something days otherwise?
Yes, for section 115.3, if they simply just stopped working and ceased, that would suffice for this, and that would cancel this this violation. But if they continue to work, 115.3 stands.
Okay. So would you
Yeah,
be-
I think, just sort of thinking through this out loud, to come to compliance with 115.3, all they have to do is stop working
Stop.
without a permit. Seems to me they don't need 60 days to do that.
I'm just trying to be nice here. I'm trying to help.
I do realize that.
There is a lot of tradesmen that are on site. The property owner would have to communicate to all of them. They're working for somebody. Somebody's paying these gentlemen to work, and obviously somebody's not communicating them that there is a stop work order. My stop work order and the notice of violations are still taped to the front door. So somebody has to see that every time they enter the property.
When did you issue the stop work order?
This one was the initial one.
Yeah.
The initial one, Felicia, when was that?
For the lien case?
April 12th? The older case.
The older case was April 12th.
Is this what you need?
Yes, that one. April 12th. Thank you, Stefania.
So this has been going on a really long time.
Yes. And I have communicated with the workers that are on site, letting them know that there is a stop work order and they cannot be there working and commencing work. They don't seem to care.
60 days seems way too long to me.
Okay. Well, the city can arrange for 30 days.
Maybe even less?
5? Okay, 5. 5 it is.
I'll tell you what. Let's give them 10 days.
Okay.
I mean, essentially, they should stop working the moment you issue your order. These shouldn't come to me. The special magistrate shouldn't be involved with the stop work order. That's very unusual for this to come to me. Once you issue the stop work order, they should respect your order. The fact that you have to come to me to enforce your order, that's very unusual. Yeah, in case CE 22090225, make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 115.3, that workers are working on this property without a permit in violation of a lawfully issued stop work order by the city of West Palm Beach. I order the respondents to cease violating 115.3 within 10 days, or a penalty of $250 per day shall issue.
Number 19, 229 9th Street, CE 221000252. Number 19.
There is 2 cases for this property. CE 221000253 and then CE 221000252. Can we hear both cases at the same?
Which pictures would you like to address first?
The photographs for CE 252.
252?
Yes. Atilio Bilal, Inspector for the City of West Palm Beach. This code case CE 221000252 is for the back house located at 229 9th Street. The violation that I observed was gas, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, building without permits or inspections. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on 1/31 of 23, was posted at City Hall on 1/31 of 23, was posted at the property on 1/31 of 23. The certified mail was returned on 2/3 of 23. On October 18th of 22, I issued a stop work order for the gas tankless water heater, plumbing, electrical, a mini split air conditioner, windows, doors installed without permits to the back house of this property. Permit inspections are required. The pictures that are being provided here are pictures that I've taken on site. The permits have not been applied for. The permits have not been issued. Inspections have not been performed. Included in my file are the notice of violation, a copy. And included in my file are a copy of the affidavit of posting. The city's recommending 60 days and $25 a day.
Thank you, Inspector Bilal. Just a couple of questions. I'm sure I missed it. The notice of violation also sent by regular mail, yes?
Yes,
Okay. And it's the original affidavit of posting that's in your file. Would that be accurate?
yes,
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you observed at the property?
yes, they do.
And there seem to be a lot of particular permits that they would need, and I didn't catch them all.
Okay.
Could you just tell us again?
A permit would be required for the mini split AC system, the gas tankless water heater, the electric for the tankless water heater and the mini split, the windows and doors, and the gas itself that was provided for the heater.
And did you say plumbing or no?
Plumbing would be the water heater.
Oh, okay, very good. And has all the work been completed?
Yes,
And do you believe 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to get these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, it does appear that the water heater may have been just a replacement of an existing heater that was outside. The air conditioner looks like it was just replaced because it was a defective unit and they had that replaced, and the contractors just may have failed to apply for the proper permits. Those should be just a change out is what they're probably going to call them as.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of, or the copy of the entire case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, stop work order, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Chris Langer, the contractor.
And what is your relationship to the owner in this case?
The contractor.
You're what?
The contractor.
Can you speak into the mic? I can't hear you.
Contractor?
Oh, you're a contractor.
Yes.
And you were hired to address these particular issues?
Yes.
Sir, do you have any objections to the documents the city would like to put in evidence?
No, I believe all the permits have been applied for, just not issued.
Hold on one sec. Without objection, I'll enter the documents and evidence of city's composite exhibit 1. I'm sorry, so you said you believe all the permits have been applied for?
I believe they've been applied for but not issued. I think the AC mini split has been inspected and completed.
Is that the city's understanding?
As of last week, I didn't see any of the permits and put it into the system. However, they may have just applied for them. They can apply digitally over online, and it should be a change out.
When did you apply for the permits, sir?
The AC was probably a month plus ago, and the other one's at least 2 to 3 weeks ago. The AC was inspected at least a month ago, my understanding.
Felicia, are we able to open up Community Plus and see any permits history for this back property? I can't see it. So it does show that for the fence, for the pool, was applied for. It's still in applied status. There's a residential remodel for interior renovations for the windows and doors replacement. Now, this is for the back house. The code case in front of us today is, in reference, the 252 is for the back house. City would usually apply and have two separate addresses. The back house would be a different address than the front house, so there's no way of telling what permit this window and door replacement is for. I do see there's a mechanical change out for a Mitsubishi mini split. It's showing here there's a permit for the pool.
All right,
This would appear that this is for the front house.
Let me do it this way, because there's a couple things that are clear to me. It's clear that there wasn't a permit at the time, so there's a violation on the property. 60 days seems like a fairly good amount of resolution. Obviously, what definitely needs to happen here, sir, is you need to communicate with the code officer about how you're resolving it, and the code officer needs to, the building official needs to communicate with you exactly what, things that he needs to see from you in order to bring you into compliance. I think 60 days is a sufficient amount of time for this to be accomplished.
Is that for completion or just applying and securing the permits?
What is the city seeking here?
The city is seeking 60 days to obtain the permits and inspections for the mini split AC, the water heater, the windows and doors, and the plumbing.
Do you understand that, sir?
Yeah, it just matters of if it goes through plan review, it shouldn't be an issue with those. The main house, which is the next violation, would be more of the issue. So
Well,
this one is good.
Let's just focus on the one that's in front of us.
This one's good.
All right, so 60 days work?
Yes.
All right. All right, in case CE 22100252, I make the following findings of fact and life fine notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 105.1 and 110.3. Specifically, we need permits and inspections on the mini split, the water heater, the windows and doors, and the plumbing. Give the respondent 60 days to bring the property into compliance of the back house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give the respondent 60 days to come into compliance, or a fine of up to $25 per day may issue. All right. Let's talk about the other part.
Does she
Yeah,
need
sorry.
to announce it? No, I'll announce it. Attilio Belial, Inspector for the City of West Palm Beach. This is for code case CE 221-00253. This is for the front house of address 229 9th Street. The house was being remodeled for the building, electrical, mechanical, plumbing without a permit. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on 1/31 of 23. Was posted at City Hall on 1/31 of 23 and was posted at the property of 1/31/23. The certified mail was returned on 2/3 of 23. On October 18th of 22, I issued a stop work order for an entire house remodel being performed to the building, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, without permits. On 1/31 of 23, when I posted the notice of violation to the property, I noticed that some additional work was performed after the stop work order has been issued. A new fence on the front of the property has now been installed after the stop work order was issued on October 18th of 22. The pictures being shown are the pictures accurately taken by myself. Permits have been applied for. Permit number 22121418, a residential remodel. 22111167, a mechanical has been issued and inspected of 12/16 of 22. Inspections have been performed to the mechanical only. Included in my file is a copy of the notice of violation, and included in my file is also a copy of the affidavit of posting. The city is recommending 60 days and $25 a day after that.
Thank you, Inspector Belial. Just a couple of questions. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, they do.
And with respect to, you mentioned the fence. Is the fence a part of this particular case then?
I did not issue on this violation the fence. I noticed that there was a fence installed when I did the reinspection of the property and posted the notice of violation on the property. This code case is for the interior demo and the remodel being performed to the main house.
Okay. And again, because it's multiple permits, moving parts here, for the building permit, that was issued, and what's the status of issued versus inspection for the building permit you talked about?
The status of the residential remodel, there still needs to be inspections commenced. The mechanical, I don't know if there's a way that the property owner needs to identify the front house and the back house, but as it stands right now, 229 9th Street is the entire property, and there's no way to subdivide each permits for the front house and the back house. There needs to be a different address or something for each structure
Okay.
to properly identify which permits are pertaining to which building.
Okay. And do you believe 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, stop work order, certified mailing documents, photographs, permit applications, and any and all other documents and information relied on.
Sir, do you have any objections to any of these documents?
No. The AC was for the coach house. That 16 Sierra Mitsubishi was
Hold on just
installed.
1 second. Let me just get the documents down, then we can talk.
Sorry.
Without objection, I'll accept these documents and evidence of city's composite exhibit 1. Okay,
No.
tell me about the AC.
That was for the coach house that was inspected in December.
That's the back house.
Yes.
Okay.
So the mechanical that's applied for is for the main house for the interior renovation. It's a separate permit, that's a full renovation. The mini split was just a replacement, and that's what that 16 Sierra Mitsubishi was.
All right, so it's challenging here because of the two different units not having a separate address. So I imagine
Yes.
it's challenging for the officer to try and figure out what you're doing?
The property owner would need to get with our department to get that rectified, because there is a lot of confusion as far as what permits go where.
So from the city's point of view, what do you believe at this point that he needs?
60 days, $25 a day. If he can obtain the permits for the interior renovations of the main house, and any work that was commencing on the front house, the main house, any kind of plumbing, electrical, mechanical, 60 days.
Can that
permits
be
and-
all done on a general renovation permit, or does it have to be done separately?
Separate. It would be the building residential remodel, and he would have to have a plumbing, mechanical, and electrical.
Sir, do you understand that?
Yes,
Do you understand the city wants to give you 60 days to obtain those permits? Do
yes.
you believe that's a sufficient amount of time?
Yeah, the second correction just went in a couple days ago, so we're good.
Okay. All right, in case CE 22100253, make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 105.1 and 110.3 renovation of the front house. Respondent should obtain all required permits within 60 days, and inspections or a fine of up to $25 per day may issue.
Number 10, 720 38th Street, CE 230100099. Number 10, 720 38th Street.
Hi, good morning. Sandy Mills Code Compliance Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on January 12, 2023. Service was accomplished by certified mail sent on 1/17/23. Certified mail was signed for on January 19, 2023. In addition, both the property and City Hall were posted on 1/20/2023. I have been in contact with the husband of the property owner. This property was cited for the address characters missing on the rear of the property in the alleyway, as well as replacing a portion of the fencing in the alleyway around the property. Open areas that needs to be sodded, as well as the swale area that has gravel, a portion of it with gravel in it. Parking on unpaved surface, sorry. As of this morning, the property has not come into compliance, therefore the city is asking for an additional 30 days and 100 days if not in compliance. When I spoke to the husband of the owner, when I did the posting, he mentioned that he was informed prior that the gravel that he was parking on was considered paved parking. The case prior to this one showed that it was adjudicated. He was cited for the same thing on paved parking. It was adjudicated, and the complied photos show that he parked in the driving spot versus on the gravelway. I also have 2 emails from zoning for the fence, requiring that he needs a permit for it, as well as that the gravel that he's parking on is not considered a paved parking surface. So he needs to actually remove the gravel and put the grass back, because that's what was originally there before, as well as to remove the gravel from the swale/parkway.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
There is.
Was the notice of violation also sent by regular first-class mail?
It was.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you observed at the property?
It does.
Okay. And with respect to the fence, did you say that you observed that part of a fence had been replaced?
That's correct. The fence has CB block on the bottom portion and wood on the top. So that's the picture that I sent to zoning to verify whether or not they needed a permit for it, and the email was sent back saying that they do need a permit for replacing the top portion of it.
And where is that part of the fence located? Is that in the back, side, front?
It starts in the alleyway and it goes around to the west side of the property.
Okay. And you believe that address characters are needed in the back for what reason?
The address characters are required once the owner is using the alleyway. There's a gate back there. He has complied that portion of it. The address numbers were placed on the back of the property.
Okay, so that's not in.
That's not an AC run.
Violation, okay. And, do you find that, upon your most recent inspection, that the parking is still occurring in the gravel area of the front?
That's correct. I have a picture as of yesterday afternoon showing the truck was still parked on the gravel.
And I apologize if I asked before, do the photographs truthfully and accurately depict the alleged violations that you've observed?
It does.
Do you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to resolve these alleged violations?
That's correct, because he will need to get a permit for the fencing as well as, there are two options for him for the driveway. Remove the gravel and have it resodded, or since parking is an issue for him, he could actually apply for a permit and get the driveway extended the right way.
Okay, thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the entire case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, emails, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Charles Bird, 720 38th Street, West Palm Beach.
In your relationship to Brenda Bird?
She's my wife.
She's the owner of the property?
Yes, by virtue of me quit claiming it to her, yes.
And you're here representing her?
Yes.
Mr. Bird, do you have any objections to the documents the city would like to put in evidence?
Not the documents, but the premise. Hurricane Nicole
hold that
knocked
thought.
down, I'm sorry.
Hold that thought for 1 second. Let me just deal with the documents, and then you can tell me. All right, without objection, I'll accept those documents in evidence. City's Composite Exhibit 1. All right. Go ahead. What's wrong with the premise?
The fence was damaged in Hurricane Nicole. I set about replacing it, at which time you can see I have photos that I was replacing like for like as the wood was in aged and dry rotted condition. The two panels that got knocked down were replaced, and as I started going through the wood, I saw more dry rot, more dry rot, more dry rot. That necessitated me to continue because otherwise it would present a hazard. I did the work myself. It's not a fence, it's a screen that sits atop a cinder block wall. It has been there since '97, and it's not a new fence under any definition of the word. A lot of the wood that's been used in the back alley was the reclaimed wood as I took down the panels that were destroyed or damaged. I don't think it's proper or necessary for me to, excuse me, I'm nervous.
It's okay, don't be nervous.
To repair a fence or a screen on my own property. But, I did the best I could. I have pictures. You can see the finished product, and, you can also see.
I don't think it's the city's argument that you can't
Well,
but you did. I think the city is just asking that you should have gotten a permit. I mean, I don't mean, I'm
If
here,
you're-
I might be mischaracterizing the city's position here. What's the city's argument about the fence is what?
He needs to get a permit.
Yeah, so I didn't mischaracterize the city's argument. So the city's just saying that you replaced enough of the fence that it's really kind of a new fence at this point, not necessarily an argument about where your materials came from. And so they're asking that you get a fence permit.
Just for clarification, also 94302, and the cited subsection A3 is not just for fences, but also for hedges and walls. So I know the respondent is characterizing this as a screen, but if he doesn't think it's a fence, it's certainly definitely a wall.
Yeah, so I mean, like, we may or may not agree with the codes of the city that say when you replace fences or when you do enough work on a fence that you need to get a permit for it. That's a proposition worthy of public debate, I suppose, sir. But that's how the city of West Palm Beach does it. So when you replace enough of a fence, which it's pretty clear you did here, you just have to get a permit.
If you say so.
Well, it's not me, I don't make the laws here. The city council makes the
certainly
laws.
don't, And I have a basic, the laissez-faire aspect of government should come into
Yeah,
play at some
I
point.
may or may not agree with you, but it's not, one of the jobs that I have is it's not my role here is not to decide what the rules should be in West Palm Beach, right? That's for your elected representatives, right? They get to decide what those rules are. I have a very simple mandate, right, which is I look at what the rules are that the democracy of West Palm Beach established, and I see whether the facts that come in front of me represent a sufficient representation that those rules have been violated. And it's pretty clear to me that city requires a permit. So you got to get a permit.
Okay.
All right, but let's talk about the other stuff, because that one doesn't seem too difficult. So we got landscaping, and we got parking on unpaved surfaces, and we got numbers, right?
I have a question. I looked at that code, and it just says paving material must be dust-free and permeable. It doesn't say you can't have gravel. That's 3 yards of crushed gravel there. And it's been there for 10 years. In varying states of,
94442C, 1.
As far as the gravel on the swale, no grass is gonna grow there because that, consistently gets run over. I put the gravel there to kind of, do away with that issue.
Yeah, that's a little trickier because essentially, so if it's not a driveway, then it's a landscape area under the city code. And that means as a landscape area, it's going to need to be an approved landscape material, which is essentially sod.
It was sodded,
Well,
but
it can be natural
sod.
grass, ground cover, shrubbery, or other suitable plant material, and we have a landscape planner who can,
it was
Who can
sodded.
tell you
I
what that
replaced the lawn last year, and it was all sodded, but that spot won't grow.
I mean, an alternative, you could get a permit. I think the city was suggesting an alternative is to get a permit to extend the driveway. I think that was, if I understood the city's presentation, that would also solve this problem.
That would also solve the problem. Excuse me. That would solve the problem. And he mentioned before that he put the gravel in the park slash swale area because vehicles are being driven on it. That's because he has the gravel to the right and he's driving that way. Had he not been driving on that area, the gravel wouldn't be necessary in the swale parkway. Grass would grow there because he would only be driving on the paved surface. And again, I do have an email from zoning which proves that the gravel is not a recommended non-dusting surface.
That's not what the code says.
And I got clarification on it. And I sent them
I've
the
read it.
picture
I've read it. It says
with the gravel.
permeable and dust-free. It doesn't say no gravel.
The email is in the file.
I think that the issue would be that the material that's there is, let me just go into the actual thing here.
Well, let's see. So what we're concerned about here is what, 94442C1? All open space excluding vehicular and pedestrian circulation features and surface parcel must be covered with natural grass, ground cover, shrubbery, and other suitable plant material, or may have paved active recreation areas, patios, terraces, swimming pools, water features, and similar site components incorporated in open space. Artificial turf shall only be permitted installed within standards of 94441. So you need to have natural grass, ground cover, or shrubbery.
94482 also indicates a non-dusting surface, and I think that's the issue, is that gravel is not a non-dusting surface.
Gravel is not a non-dusting surface? There's no dust.
I'm sorry, so what was the other section you were referring to?
94-482A.
9242A?
94-482A. Mm-hmm.
Ninety-four, 482A.
So I think that even if he applies to see if he can make that into a permitted driveway area, it's not gonna be potentially the right material anyway, but, you know, he can be in contact with zoning. And get that figured out, and it would be figured out.
Required off-street
quickly.
parking spare less than 3 residential units shall be provided on property which is required parking maintained in front yard, however, less than 1,000 square yards or 75% of front area shall be landscaped with plant material. Well, that is a problem.
Do I need, there's a history here. I went on vacation, I had my truck parked out front. The tire went flat while I wasn't home. The police towed it from in front of my house. Now, be that as it may, that made me go to the alternate parking and install the gravel.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason that you need permits to do this stuff is because there are a bunch of rules here about how to do it. A certain percentage of the front lawn has to be
70%.
75%, has to be landscape with living plant material.
And it is.
So your argument is that your gravel is okay under 9442 because it is a non-dusting surface?
It's non-dusting and permeable.
And the city's argument is that the gravel is not appropriate because it is,
It's a dusting, it's a dusting surface, and zoning agrees with me. It is.
so the city's saying it is a dusting surface.
It's a dusting surface. I also read the code, and I sent the email with the picture of the vehicle parked on the gravel to zoning in an email, and they responded saying it's not a dusting surface.
It's not a dusting?
It's a dusting surface, sorry. If you click on the email, you can see.
So maybe someone needs to explain to me what a dusting and a non-dusting surface is.
Please, I'd like to hear that.
Basically, the driveway, which is solid, is a non-dusting surface. If enough breeze blows through those gravel, it can unearth the dust that's underneath it.
So gravel driveways anywhere in the city of West Palm Beach are in and of themselves a violation of 94-482A? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that the city's position? That they're just not permitted in West Palm Beach?
That's correct. Mark Joyce, Code Enforcement. Unless they were grandfathered in from, say they were constructed in the 20s or something like that, 20s or 30s, then they would be grandfathered in.
So uniformly, this type of driveway is just not permitted in West Palm Beach?
Right, like he said, it's crushed asphalt. Crushed asphalt creates dust.
It's not asphalt.
Crushed gravel. So that creates dust, and that's what, and if he wants to get a permit for, and they let him put a crushed asphalt, crushed gravel drive, great. But I think what the problem is, and she's got the email from zoning, and it's a zoning code. Chapter 94 is the entire zoning code. So we have the experts who deal with this code every day, saying that this type of driveway is not allowed.
It's again one of those things. I'm not an expert on driveways. When I was a kid, we actually had a gravel driveway, so I don't even know.
Grandfathered for that.
Well, I don't think in this particular case, since you just put it in, that it's going to be grandfathered in. Certainly, I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, so I think you got a problem. I'm trying to see if I can figure out ways to help you here, sir, but I don't really see it. You gotta get a permit for your fence. You're gonna have to either get a permit for the driveway or you're gonna have to landscape it properly. What about the numbers?
30 days and $100 per day if not complied.
I mean, the number, size, and did we put the numbers on the building, on the house?
You did.
Okay, so all we're really talking about now is the fence permit, the landscaping, and the,
That's pretty much it. The swale.
what's the issue with the swale?
Well, he put the gravel in the swale to accommodate the driveway that you created.
So the driveway's in the swale. Yeah, I don't know how to help you here, sir. You're gonna have to do something with the gravel that is consistent with what the city requires.
Special Magistrate, the photo up now is the one that includes the swale, is that accurate?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. For whatever reason, I'm having a hard time hearing everybody today.
I'm sorry. The current picture that we're looking at right now is where you have the gravel put in the swale to accommodate the driveway that he created.
The property's on the corner. You can't approach it from 38th Street for the reasons we discussed on the hedge. But when you come around that corner from Pinewood, it's kind of a sharp corner, you know, to get into the driveway with a full-size pickup truck. That's why I did that. It isn't, you know,
Right.
I don't think it's an eyesore, but, you know, you tell me what you want me to do, and, you know, we'll go from there.
All right, sir, this one I'm doing, case CE 230100099, I'm gonna make the following findings of fact and lie. Find notice is sufficient, I find the properties, violations 94302A3, 94442C1, and 94442E, and 9442A. I'm gonna give the respondent, I'll give you 30 days to bring the property into compliance, or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue. I'm going to ask the city to sit down and meet with him and explain exactly what he needs to do to bring this property into compliance, especially regarding, so the issue is essentially here is that you can't have the gravel as parking. If you want to expand your driveway, you need to get a permit and get a permit with the appropriate materials. The landscaping has to be a grass or an approved surface under 94442, and the parking has to be an approved surface as well. All right. Thank you for coming in, sir.
Mr. Byrd, behind you. Number 13, 733 58th Street, CE 2302032, number 13, 733 58th Street.
The City of West Palm Beach Code Officer.
Sorry,
Robert
did you say 13?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, please go ahead, sir.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins.
Mr. Watkins, can you come closer to the microphone, please?
Can you hear me now?
You really have to be like right on top of these things for whatever reason.
Oh, he's reading them? Okay. City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited February the 3rd. Certified mail was sent February the 3rd. City Hall was posted February the 6th. Certified mail was received February the 6th. City Hall was posted February the 3rd. This property was cited for a self-latching gate, pool barriers, outdoor storage, garbage can placement, and failure to comply. Compliant violations were self-latching gate, pool barriers, outdoor storage, and the failure to comply portion. Remaining violations is just the garbage can placement. And what this one's kind of weird, the city is requesting 60 days because he already has applied for his fencing permit. He just has to get it inspected. The reason for the short period of time was health safety. There was the original fence was taken down and the pool was exposed to anyone that could walk by. And there's a lot of kids and stuff in the area. So the reason for the 60 days as well is to give him time for the inspector to come out and do the inspection to either approve or deny his fence. The city is requesting 60 days or $50 per day after.
for the permit.
Thank you. Officer, just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes,
And was the notice of violation sent by regular first-class mail?
yes,
And was the notice of violation posted at the property?
yes, it was.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes,
And what type of property is this? Is it a,
residential.
okay, thank you. And just for the record, to make clear, what is it about the garbage can that you believe makes it an alleged violation?
Just right now, it's probably
I'm sorry,
they're minor, so
Mr.
this
Watkins, we
is
can't
out
hear.
front. In the front, you can see it, and the picture's right by the new, outside of the new gate. But I spoke with him, he's unaware, he's gonna put it behind there today, so,
So is it just a regular residential garbage can?
yes.
Um,
A regular brown one that you put household garbage in.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Marcos Cardoso.
And your relationship to the owner
I'm the owner.
of Cardozo Realty Investment? Sir, do you have any objections to the documents the city would like to put into evidence? Without objection, I'll accept those in evidence. City's Composite Exhibit 1, looks like we're mostly done here. We're just, fence permit.
Yes.
City says 60 days.
Okay. No problem.
Well, that was easy. All right, in case CE 230200032, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient from the property in violation of 7434A1J. Respondent has 60 days to bring the property in compliance by obtaining the fence permit to conceal the garbage cans, or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue. All done. Thank you for coming in, sir.
I believe that's all we have for contested matters. Sir, are you here for a case? Oh, okay.
You're early. All right. On the top.
So, case number 220 Coniston Road, CE 221000134.
Good morning. John Frosco, West Palm Beach Code for Sonia Benz. This property was cited for landscaping the front yard on a residential structure. The property was posted on, the notice of violation, notice of hearing was posted on October 14th of 2022, and the certified mail was sent out. I did review the case file, and I see that the affidavit of posting is in the file, and the certified mail was sent.
Officer Frosca, just a couple of questions. With respect to the affidavit of posting, does it indicate that the notice of violation was also sent by regular mail?
Yes, it was.
And does the affidavit of posting also indicate that the notice of violation was posted at City Hall?
Yes, it was.
And did you yourself have an opportunity to inspect this particular property?
I did.
What is it about your inspection of this property that leads you to believe that the alleged violations
At least
continue to
80%
be
of the
at the
front
property?
yard, I'm sorry, at least 80% of the front yard is inorganic material.
And are you seeing that just on the front, sides? What are you seeing?
The only thing that has changed is that they put a couple bushes along the, like mini bushes along the front. But it has to be grass and living plant material in the front yard.
Thank you. Have you had any contact with anybody from the property?
No, I haven't.
Okay, and is there anything when you reviewed the file to indicate that they had been in contact with the prior code enforcement officer?
I saw that, but I couldn't testify to that hearsay, so.
Okay, and the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violation you've observed at the property?
They do. I have current files, current photos in the file of what it looks like from this morning.
Okay, thank you. And what kind of time frame are you seeking?
I would say to give them, because it's not a health, life, safety risk, and just enough time so they can figure out what they want to do, 60 days or $50 a day.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
I swear today I've spent more time rereading the landscaping codes. Natural grass, ground cover, shrubbery, or other suitable plant material. So this is rocks.
Right. It's inorganic.
Well, I'm no geologist, but I'm pretty sure a rock is not a plant material.
Right. I think it would
Not to
pass it.
prolong this, but what, I presume ground cover is another term for different types of grass. Is that what we're talking about?
Right, living plant material in a combination of, the city doesn't, in a single-family residential, we don't really tell them exactly, specifically have to do it, how to do it. It would be more grass, a bush, a tree, to have appropriate ground cover to hold the soil back so that it doesn't erode and create an unsanitary environment. And then there are other issues, other provisions.
Yeah, I mean, the theme here, grass, ground cover, shrubbery, plant material, is talking about stuff with roots, right, essentially?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Which clearly is not rocks.
Correct.
All right. And you said you had some contact with the owner here?
I have not.
You have not?
And hence, it's not a health, life, safety risk at this point. So 60 days or $50 a day, I think would be suffice. And then once they get your order, I can work with them to, it's a simple issue. It's not complicated. It's not.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, in case CE 221000134, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18106K and 94442C1. Specifically, the respondent is not using an approved landscaping material in violation of both code sections. Respondent has 60 days to bring the property into compliance or fine of $50 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Number 3, 2001 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, Blue Sea Behavior Therapy, CE 22120072.
Don Williams, Code Enforcement. This business, Blue Sea Behavior Therapy Corp., was cited on December 6, 2022. Certified mail sent out January 5th of 23, and the business posted January 30th of 23. I cited this property for a business tax receipt. That's 82-144, and a certificate of use of 2232A. No contact made with the business owners. However, the receptionist did verify that the business is still operating at that location. My recommendation is for the certificate of use, 30 days or $200 a day, and for the license itself, a one-time fee of $250.
I'm sorry, can you repeat what you were asking for?
$250 for the business tax, and for certificate of use, 30 days, $200.
Thank you. Officer Williams, just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
It is.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
And does that affidavit also indicate that City Hall was posted with the notice of violation?
Yes.
And the photograph that is in the file, is that a photograph of the correct business that we're talking about?
It is.
And is there any photograph of posting? Okay.
There's
Okay, and that's an accurate photograph of posting of this business,
It
correct?
is.
Very good, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the claim case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents.
Without objection,
And
accept those
photographs.
documents into evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. So we know, I mean, there's a sign here, but do we know there's actually a business operating in here?
We do.
Did you like go in and see it operating?
No, actually, receptionist verified it at the front desk.
So there's a receptionist that works in part for this business and said that she's working for this business?
Not the
currently?
business, for the complex itself.
But that receptionist verified that she's taking calls and doing things for this business?
Correct, yes.
And you're seeking 30 days to come into compliance with these code sections or a fine of up to $250 per day?
For the business tax itself, one-time fine of $250. For the COU, 30 days, $200.
All right, in case CE 221200072, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 2232A and 82144. As to the business tax receipt, I issue a one-time fine of $250. As to the certificate of use, I give the respondent 30 days to come up with compliance or a fine of up to $200 per day may issue.
Number 4, 2001 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, My Pink Passion, CE 221200073.
Don Williams, Code Enforcement. Business My Peak Passion was cited December 6th of 22. Certified mail sent January 5th of 23. And City Hall and the business posted January 30th of 23. I cited this business for a business tax receipt at 82-144 and certificate of use 2232A. I have made contact with them on the phone, and they are operating at that location currently. My recommendation is 30 days and $200 a day for the certificate of use and one-time fine of $250 for the business tax.
Thank you, Officer Williams. Just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes,
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
yes,
The photographs that we've been reviewing, are those accurate photographs of this particular business and the posting of the notice of violation?
yes.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence as City's Composite Exhibit 1. And this, again, you verified through the receptionist that works in the building?
No, this was actually a phone call to the business itself.
I'm sorry, one more time?
This is verified by phone call to the business.
Oh, so you actually spoke to the business? Did they explain why they haven't gotten their
Nope,
certificate?
only that they would do it, and as of today, it's not completed.
And it's not done. All right. In case CE 221200073, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation 2232A and 82144. As to 82144, issue a one-time fine of $250. As to 2232A, respondent has 30 days to come to compliance or fine of up to $200 per day issue.
Thank you.
Number 5, 412 Michigan Place, CE 230100157.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On January 14th, the property at 412 Michigan Place was cited for clean and sanitary, excessive growth, inoperative vehicle, and maintenance of the swale. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted on January 30th. Certified mail and regular mail was sent January 19th. Certified mail was received January 27th. The property has since come into compliance with the clean and sanitary, excessive growth, and swell maintenance. The property is still outstanding with the inoperative vehicle. On January 30th, at the time of posting, I did speak with the property owner. He assured me that the inoperative vehicles would be removed. He since removed one of the inoperative vehicles, but one still remains. So with that being said, city is recommending 10 days to bring the property into compliance, or $50 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, Officer McFarland. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
The photographs that we're reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
With respect to the one vehicle that still remains in alleged violation, is that just a regular vehicle as opposed to a box truck or a
Yes, the blue BMW has no tag on it.
okay? And have you observed that parking in an inappropriate manner or place on multiple occasions?
Yes.
And as of your most recent inspection, does that still continue?
Yes.
Okay. Special Magistrate, thank you very much. The city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence, the city's composite exhibit 1. So we just have that one vehicle without the tag, is that the?
Yes, sir.
In case CE 230101157, make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 34102B. I give the respondent 10 days to bring the property in compliance by removing or making operable the inoperable vehicle on the property, or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Number 6, 1897 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, 123 CE 230108182.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On January 20th, the business at 1897 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, Unit 123, was cited for business tax receipt and certificate of use. This is a renewal of the business tax receipt. The property was posted on January 30th and City Hall. The excuse me, certified mail and regular mail went out January 20th. Certified mail was received January 23rd. The business has since come into compliance on January 26th. The reinspection date was January 26th. And the property actually came into compliance on January 30th. With this being said, the city's recommending a finding of fact on this business as far as the renewal of the business tax receipt.
Thank you. Officer McFarland, we're seeing a photograph of Calvary Deliverance Ministries. Is that the business that you're speaking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And obviously, since they came into compliance, there's been no objection by them or any indication that they're not currently operating and had to come into compliance, correct?
No, I did have a conversation with a representative of the business, and I did explain to them that they need to keep up with their business tax receipt, because the next time it would be a repeat violation.
Okay. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
And these are accurate photographs of the business and posting, is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
And since you're asking for a finding of fact, what is the date in the notice of violation that they needed to come into compliance with, that they didn't, thus?
I did mention it. The reinspection was January 26th, and they actually came into compliance on January 30th.
Okay, I apologize.
That's fine.
So the date in the notice of violation is the date of reinspection as well?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the notice of violation, a copy of the case file, including the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence, the city's composite exhibit 1. In case CE 230101182, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient upon the property having been in violation of sections 2232A and 82144, specifically not obtaining a business tax receipt or certificate of use in the required amount of time. Property has since come into compliance, but after the required compliance date.
Thank you.
Number 7, 879 West Executive Center Drive, CE 230100086.
Good morning. J. Francis, West Palm Beach Code Compliance. This property was cited on 1/10/23. Service was accomplished by certified mail and regular mail sent on 1/11/23. Certified mail received on 1/13/23. Both the property and City Hall were posted on 2/3/23. I have been in contact with this property owner. This property was cited for excessive growth, clean and sanitary, trash and debris, and a repeat violation. The case number CE 220-20059. As of this morning, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is asking for a daily fine of $50 from the date of initial inspection, which is 1/10/23, until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Officer Francis, a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
And the photographs that we're reviewing, are they truthfully and accurately depicting the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us for the record what it is you observed that led you to believe there are violations on the property?
A section of the property, I think is the south side of the property, is excessively overgrown. Along the entire east side of the property is a whole bunch of trash and debris and a lot of garbage.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned that this is a repeat and thus based on a prior case. In that case, were they also cited with 18106A, 18106B?
Yes, and clean and sanitary and trash and debris.
Okay. And what was the result of that underlying case? Did they come into compliance?
Yeah, it was adjudicated complied.
Okay. And you're asking, so that whole underlying case is in compliance. I just want to make sure the record's clear on that.
Yes, that first one.
All right. And you're asking for $50 from the first time you observed from this current case of January 10th through and including today and continuing, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence. By the way, are you seeing any progress here?
Yes, I've spoke to the owner several times in the past couple of weeks. He's having issue with homeless people. So he's been in contact with Sergeant Heiser and a few sergeants in the West Palm Police Department to help him address that issue so he could get the property cleared up.
Okay, thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file in the current case, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, in addition, a copy of the underlying case file as indicated. Thank you.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as City's Composite Exhibit 1. So you observed this on January 10th, and
Sir.
as of your last inspection, the property is not in compliance?
No, sir. It was yesterday.
And this wasn't, I guess you noticed this as a repeat violation?
Yes, sir.
You explained to the owner that he's going to be subject to fines as long as this was not.
Yes, I did. He wasn't too happy, but I informed him.
All right, in case CE 230100086, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18106A and 18106B, specifically that grass and weeds are growing beyond the permitted under the code, and the trash and debris is scattered across this property. I make further finding this constitutes a repeat violation under the code of the City of West Palm Beach. I hereby issue a fine in the amount of $50 per day beginning on January 10th, 2023, and continuing until the property comes into compliance.
Number 815 33rd Street, CE 230100090.
J. Francis, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance. This property was cited on 1/11/23. Service was accomplished by certified mail and regular mail sent on 1/12/23. Certified mail was returned on 1/25/23. Both the property and City Hall were posted on 2/3/23. I have not been in contact with this particular property owner. The property was cited for unpaved parking, garbage can placement, and landscape maintenance. As of this morning, the property has come into compliance with the unpaved parking. However, the landscape maintenance and garbage can placement is still pending. Therefore, the city is asking for an additional 14 days for them to come into compliance. If they do not come into compliance, then the city is asking for $50 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Officer Francis, just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
And the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
And for the record, can you just tell us a little bit about the remaining alleged violations, what you observed as to landscape maintenance, and what is it about the trash can that you believe leads to an alleged violation?
Well, they have the trash can in front of the front door. Still up until yesterday. The area where the cars are normally parked in front of the front window it needs to be sodded. If you go back, you can see the dead grass and brown area in the picture as well.
Okay.
There you go.
And that's what you're talking about, Officer Francis?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the front yard.
Yes.
Some of those browning areas. So is there anything on the side, or any other areas?
No,
other than what we're talking
just that
about
one
now?
area where they constantly park.
Okay, and are they making any progress on that landscaping?
Well, they've moved the car. I haven't seen any progress on the landscaping so far.
Okay, but they haven't done anything with the landscaping itself to fix it now that
No.
they've moved the car? Okay, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence, the city's composite exhibit 1. So I get so I was trying to follow the conversation here. So I get the sod in the front where that car was parking obviously needs to be resodded, and that's a
Right.
clear violation of 18106K.
Right.
You cite in your notice here the side and rear yards. So
No, that's just how the ordinance is written.
okay, so it's just that area where
Just
the car
that
was
area
parking?
right there.
Okay. And obviously the trash can that's sitting out there.
Yeah, right in
included,
front, in front of the front
That,
door.
that one was easy. Even I can get that, all right. All right, in case CE 230100090, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 18106K, specifically the area that the car used to be parking on needs to be sodded and landscaped consistent with the codes of the city of West Palm Beach. And 7434A1H, the trash can has to be removed from public view.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't. Respondent has 14 days to come to compliance, or a fine of $50 per day may issue.
Number 9 is complied, 634 39th Street, CE 230100092. Number 11, 712 58th Street, CE 22120148.
City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance, Robert Watkins. This property was cited on December 14th, 2022. Certified mail was sent December 15th, 2022. Certified mail was received December 22nd, 2022. City Hall was posted January the 4th, 2023. This property was cited for outdoor storage, landscaping, maintaining and landscaping, excessive growth, and clean and sanitary. Compliant violations as of yesterday were the excessive growth and maintaining of landscaping. Remaining violations are the outdoor storage and clean and sanitary, the trash and debris. The city is requesting 20 days for compliance or $50 per day after.
Thank you, Officer Watkins. Just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, there is.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it is.
Was the property posted with the notice of violation?
Yes, it was.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, it does.
And can you take a moment and tell us for the record what it is about the clean and sanitary and the outdoor storage that you observed that you believe leads to an alleged violation?
So outdoor storage there is just like an old ice machine, buckets, gas canisters. There's a few more in the other images. There's also an abundance of trash in the yard and around the property and towards the curb area as well.
Thank you. Have you had any contact with the owner or anybody representing the owner?
I've had correspondence early, well, I would say late December with the property management company. They told me that they would have it cleaned up, and it looked like since then they've added those string lights that go from the porch around the pole and back to the porch again. And the outdoor storage is still there, the ice machine stuff on the in front of it and on the patio porch itself.
Thank you. Do you believe that 20 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, correspondence, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those items into evidence as City's Composite Exhibit 1. So the outdoor storage is essentially this ice machine.
Yeah, there's several things out there in the other images. There's ice machines, there's a few buckets out there. Every day has something different, as you can see in most of these images that are going by. There seems to be something outdoor storage related every day there. It's like the add-on, they take away the add-on more.
Okay. All right, in case CE 22120148, I make the following finding of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 18106A and 9471C. Specifically, there is trash and debris scattered around the property, and there is outdoor storage, including but not limited to ice machines, buckets, and other materials that need to be stored. Respondent has 20 days to get the property in compliance or fine up to $50 per day may issue.
Number 12, 5317 Pinewood Avenue, CE 22120179.
That's City of West Palm Beach, Robert Watkins. This property was cited December 16th, 2022. Certified mail was sent December 16th, 2022. Certified mail was received December 19th. City Hall was posted January the 4th. This property was cited for yard waste out early, fence maintenance, oversized yard waste, outdoor storage, landscape areas, must be grass, sodding of the yard, basically. Contractor yard waste and garbage can placement. Compliant violations were the yard waste out early, oversized yard waste pile, contractor yard waste, and fence maintenance. Remaining violations are garbage can placement, outdoor storage, sodding of the yard. And the city is requesting with this 30 days or $50 per day after. I spoke to the homeowner who encouraged me, told me that the rug would be removed and grass would be put down, but like I said, that was early January, and I haven't seen any progress whatsoever.
Thank you. A couple of questions, Officer Watkins. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes,
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
yes,
And was the notice of violation posted at the property?
yes, it was.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you observed at the property?
Yes.
And just, if we could go down your list, because you went through them pretty fast. With regard to 7434A1J garbage can placement, it's your allegation that this is still outstanding?
Yeah, right there, as of yesterday.
Okay, and can you put into the record, can you tell us what it is about the trash can?
I was just sitting right in the front. There's two of them. See, one is up higher in the driveway. You can see the other one's there, and there's also one right by the white fence in the yard full of trash.
Okay, and 7434B1, yard waste out early, I believe you said that was in compliance now?
Yes, ma'am, that was compliant.
And 7435B7, oversized yard waste, you believe that that's
Complied
in
as well.
compliance?
Mhm.
And 744C6, landscape contractor waste, what is the status of that?
That's complied as well. He had a contractor, lawn maintenance guy, trim the palms and leave everything just laying like that in the middle of the swell.
Okay. 94302A4, the fence wall maintenance, do you believe that that's in compliance now?
Yes, the two slits been repaired.
Okay, the 94442C1, landscaped areas, what is it about that, if you can tell us for the record, that you observed that you believe leads to an alleged violation?
There's a rug in the middle of the yard is where there's supposed to be grass. You can see it here in this image. It's still there as of yesterday.
Is that a rug, like a
Yeah, it's
carpet
an area
rug?
rug. Yeah, really nice one.
Is it a,
It's a house, in-home area rug.
okay. And is that in the front of the property? Where is that?
Absolutely, right there in the front. See by the gate, the stairs. It's like a little sitting area right in the middle of the yard.
Okay.
That's a rug?
Yeah.
Is that necessarily an outdoor rug?
Oh, no, that thing, when it rains, you go by there after rain, you can see guppies and stuff in them. Yeah.
Okay. And 9471C, outdoor storage, is that still allegedly outstanding?
Yes, ma'am, it's still there as well.
And for the record, what is it that you're seeing that you believe leads to an alleged violation?
Outdoor storage, there's buckets, there's the indoor tables that's outside. There's several items that are on the south side of the property in the driveway. As you can see some of them there. There's coolers, there's abundance of things all over the place in the yard.
Okay, thank you. I didn't hear the amount of days that you were seeking.
30 days.
Okay. Do you believe that's a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documentation relied upon.
Without objection, accept those documents as evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1. All right, so we're not, so the yard waste is done, right?
Yes, it is.
So no 7435B1, no 7435B7,
Yes, that's done as well.
and the garbage can is done, right?
No, the garbage can is
Garbage can is
out
still a
there.
problem.
Mhm.
So garbage can, landscaping, which is that
Yes.
rug,
garbage-
and then the outdoor storage.
Yep.
All right. All right, in case CE 22120179, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 7434A1J, garbage can in public view. 94442C1, landscaped areas must be grass, specifically the area covered by the area rug. And 9471C, outdoor storage, including buckets and other outdoor materials scattered on the property. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $50 per day may issue.
Number 14, 6910 South Dixie Highway, CE 23010013.
Good morning, Joseph Oliva, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on 1/3/2023. Service was accomplished by certified mail and regular mail sent on 1/4/2023. Certified mail was signed on 1/6/2023. In addition, both the property and City Hall were posted on 1/5/2023. There is an affidavit of posting in the case. I have been in contact with the owner of the property. This property was cited for 94-302-A-4 fence/wall maintenance. As of this morning, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is asking for an additional 120 days for them to come into compliance. If they do not come into compliance, then the city's asking for $100 a day until compliance is achieved. And I did speak with the owner of the property, and they plan to demo that wall. That's why I'm giving them the 120 days, because they have to pull a permit and all. But they want to demo the wall. So it will be coming down.
Do they want to put up a different wall?
Yeah, they're going to he wants to put up a fence, just like a wood fence.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violation you observed at the property?
Yes.
And just for the record, can you tell us what it is that you observed that you believe is a violation?
Well, all the top, see the top of the wall, how it's deteriorating, and then there's like other areas of the bricks that fell out, or right there. And then on the other side, there's like, on the other side of the wall, it's the same thing, the top of the wall deteriorating, there's a couple of pieces missing.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documentation relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as composite exhibit 1. All right, in case CE 23010013, make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation 94302A4. There's a wall in disrepair. Respondent has 120 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 15, 107 Gregory Place, CE 23010081.
Joseph Oliva, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on 1/9/2023. Service was accomplished by certified mail and regular mail sent on 1/10/2023. Certified mail was returned on 1/23/2023. In addition, both the property and City Hall were posted on 1/10/2023. There is an affidavit of posting in the case. I have not been in contact with the owner of this property. This property was cited for 22-441, no rental license, and 22-32-A, certificate of use. As of this morning, the property has not come into compliance, therefore the city is asking for an additional 30 days for them to come into compliance. If they do not come into compliance, then the city is asking for $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. The photographs that we're reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violation that you observed at the property?
Yes.
And one of those photos showed that that there's a for rent
Sign out front, yep.
in front of this property. And as of your most recent inspection, is the for rent sign still there?
I wasn't able to go out to the property, because I have to work this Saturday, but yeah, I wasn't able to go out there to see if it was or not, but nobody's contacted me, after the postings and all were sent out.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as city's composite exhibit 1.
Photographs and any and all other documents relied upon. Sorry.
All of those documents I will accept in evidence.
Thank
How long did you want to give them?
30 days,
No contact?
no contact.
Well, hard to argue that they're not putting their property on for rent, huh? All right, CE 230100081, I make the following findings of fact and life. I notice is sufficient to find the property in violation 2232A, 22441, which is a rental property without a certificate of use or a rental license. Respondent has 30 days to come to compliance or fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 16, 370 Hunter Street, CE 230100082.
Joseph Oliva, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on 1/9/2023. Service was accomplished by certified mail and regular mail sent on 1/10/2023. Certified mail was returned on 1/19/2023. In addition, both the property and City Hall were posted on 1/10/2023. There is an affidavit of posting in the case. I have not been in contact with the owner of this property. This property was cited for 18-106-A, clean and sanitary, 18-106-B, excessive overgrowth, 18-106K, landscape maintenance, 74-34-A-1-H, garbage can placement, 97-71-C, outdoor storage, 74-4-C-4, trim hedges obstructing the right-of-way, 74-4-C-5, dead vegetation, 78-94-C, swale and parkway, 94-302-A-4, fence needs repair, and 94-442-C-1, missing sod and grass in areas of the property. As of this morning, the property has not come into full compliance. Therefore, the city is asking for an additional 60 days for them to come into compliance. If they do not come into compliance, then the city is asking for $100 a day until compliance is achieved. Now, I did go to the property, and there were some workers working on the property, and they've done a lot. They've complied basically the 18-106-A, the clean and sanitary, the 18-106-B, the excessive overgrowth, the 94-71-C, the outdoor storage, the 74-4-C-4, the trimming of the hedges obstructing the right-of-way, the 74-4-C-5, the dead vegetation, and the 78-94-C, the swale and parkway. The others still haven't come into compliance.
Thank you. Officer Oliva, just a couple of questions. We've been reviewing photographs during your testimony. Do these photographs truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes.
For the alleged violations that remain, can you please tell us for the record what it is you observed in regards to, let's start out with the trash can. What is it about the trash can?
The trash can is right out there, right in the front. You can see it in that, I think I have you can see it there.
And landscape maintenance?
Landscape maintenance, as you can see, they have nothing, no grass down or anything in the front of the property.
Because we're viewing, basically, it's just soil and sand.
Yes. Yes, what it happened, I mean, you saw the pictures in the beginning when the initial violation happened. I mean, I don't think they could have grown grass there. It was just like a woods.
Okay,
So now that they cleared everything, there's no grass.
okay. And what is it about a fence or wall maintenance?
It's, the fence and the fence is coming apart.
So we're looking at a wooden slat fence?
Yes,
And is this at the side of the property, the front of the property?
the side of the property.
Okay, and so it's in disrepair because it's sort of leaning and kind of missing some...
Separating, yes,
Yeah,
and
okay.
leaning out into the,
And you believe that they could just repair that and there's no permit needed for any reason?
yes,
Okay, very good. And do you believe that 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged remaining violations into compliance?
yes.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept an evidence. The evidence case file in this case, the city's composite exhibit 1. So we got landscape maintenance, the trash can, the fence, and the sod. Is that essentially what we got left?
Yes, let me see, landscape maintenance, the trash can, the missing grass,
And the fence.
and the fence, yep.
All right, and, all right, so in case CE 230100882, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, find the property in violation of 18106K landscape maintenance. The landscape has to be maintained in a neat and healthy appearance. The 7434A1H, that there is a trash can in public view, 94302A4, that the fence is in need of repair, and 94442C1, that there needs to be sod and grass and the front area properly landscaped. Respond to 60 days to come to compliance or fine of $100 per day, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Number 21 is complied, 1035 Churchill Circle North, CE 230100069. Number 22, 5105 Parker Avenue, CE 230100073.
Good morning. Richard Pasmino, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property was cited January 9th. Certified mail was sent out January 10th, and it was signed received for on January 19th. In addition to that, the property and City Hall were both posted on January 10th. At that day, the affidavit of posting was completed and turned in. And on that affidavit, it's indicated that notice of violation, notice of hearing was also sent via first-class mail. This property was cited for clean and sanitary conditions. There's trash and debris on the property. Surface areas on this property were dirty and stained, including the sidewalk, driveway, porch areas. Exterior paint required on the structure and the wood fence and walls in front of the house, and trash can being stored in public view. I have had contact with the owner's son, who has done significant work at the property and has been working with me, updating me throughout the process. With that being said, all violations have come into compliance except for 18106G for exterior paint. For the job to get done properly, the owner is asking for additional time. The city's recommendation is 60 days to paint the exterior surfaces, or a fine of $100 a day.
Thank you, Officer Pasmino. Just a couple of questions. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violation that you believe still exists at the property?
Yes, the paint, they pressure washed and a lot of the paint peeled off, and it's going to take a while. It's going to take a good job to get it correctly done.
Okay. And you believe that the 60 days is a reasonable amount of time to get that done?
Yes, the owner was asking for about 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
I'd like to give him 60 days.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as city's composite exhibit 1. In case CE 230100073, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, to find the property in violation of 18106G. Specifically, the exterior needs to be painted. Respondent has 60 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 23, 1024 McIntosh Street, CE 23010219.
Richard Pesmino, Code Enforcement Officer for City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on January 25th. Certified mail was sent out January 25th, and it was signed received for on January 27th. In addition to that, the property and City Hall were both posted on January 25th. The affidavit of posting was turned in on that day, and it was also sent via first class mail. This property was cited for trash can being stored in public view and clean and sanitary conditions, trash and debris on the property, a dirty stained sidewalk that needed to be pressure washed. The trash cans are over full, trash all over the yard around the area. I've had no contact with any representative or tenants from this property. The sidewalk has been pressure washed, but trash and the garbage can placement remains. The city is recommending 10 additional days to comply with those violations, or we're asking for a fine of $100 a day.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. Are the photographs that we're reviewing a truthful and accurate depiction of the alleged violations you've observed at the property?
Yes, they're right there.
Thank you. And do you believe that 10 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, that's more than enough time.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as city's composite exhibit 1. So they pressure cleaned the sidewalk, but they didn't pick up the trash, and those garbage cans are still in public view?
Yeah, and if you look at the original photos, it looks like it's the same exact trash, or they just drink a lot of that stuff.
Interesting. All right, in case CE 230102219, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 7434A1H, which is trash cans in public view, and 18106A, which is trash and debris on the property. Respondent has 10 days to bring the property into compliance, or a fine of up to $100 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Number 24 is complied, 940 McIntosh Street, CE 230102235. Number 25, 544 16th Street, CE 22080562.
Good morning, Officer Underwood, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property, 544 16th Street. The owner of this property owns, it's a large commercial property, and she has 2 cases for this one. This one and the next one behind it, which is case number CE 22080567. I don't know if we do these separately or if we should do them together, because the fence in question runs throughout the property. But
Let's do them separately because they're
for
separate
housekeeping, yeah,
they're
do it
different
separately.
addresses too.
Yeah, I separated the pictures according to the property, but it's a large piece of commercial property. So, with that being said, property 544 16th Street was initially cited August 31st, 2022. Certified mail was sent out January 24th, 2023. Both property and City Hall were posted January 24th, 2023. I have certified letter signed and returned February 2nd. I have been in contact with the property owner throughout the beginning of this, and we were in constant communication on a daily basis and working toward compliance. Halfway through the working of this, our relationship, they started dragging their feet and falling off about fixing stuff, so we had to file a notice of violation, which was January 23rd. So your time frame helps out. This property was cited for clean and sanitary conditions, excessive growth, clean to the center of the right-of-way, and obstruction of the right-of-way.
There's also a fence on this one too, on the next page of
Correct.
the agenda? Okay.
Yep, correct.
With regard to your case file, is there an executed affidavit of posting?
Yes, there is.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
And what is it that you observed at the property that leads you to believe that alleged violations
The initial sighting was for trash and debris. There was a homeless camp on the backside of this property, which brought us there. The fence is in disrepair and overgrowth.
In terms of the fence, we're seeing right now on the photo a chain link fence that seems to be quite wobbly and bent over and rusty and in disrepair. But we also saw some other fencing. So is it all the fencing that we're seeing?
The entire property has that fence around it. It originally had razor wire on top and barbed wire. If you go to the original inspection, you can see that, which is in the case.
Okay.
And they have since took the razor wire down and the barbed wire that was falling apart in other spots and pretty much just put a Band-Aid on the rest of it, such as that spot right there, with adding a fence pole here and there just to try to keep the fence from falling over.
Okay. And you indicated that there is overgrowth in excess of 6 inches. Is that, you're seeing that throughout the property?
Correct.
Or in any particular place?
Correct,
Okay.
throughout the property.
All right. And you indicated, I think, that there's trash and debris strewn throughout the property?
Correct.
Okay. And since the notice of violation was sent, delivered, posted, are you seeing further progress after that at all?
As far as cleanup, no, I have not seen any.
Okay. And I apologize, you may have said it. How much time are you looking for?
I did not get to that, I apologize. Obviously, the property has not come into compliance today, and the city is requesting 60 additional days or $150 a day thereafter.
Okay. The photographs that we've been reviewing truthfully and accurately depict the alleged violations you've observed?
Yes, they do.
And do you believe that 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documentation relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as city's composite exhibit 1. So at this point, all of these code sections are still at issue?
Correct.
There's trash and debris on the property. The grass and weeds continue to exceed 6 inches.
Correct.
There's trash on the right of way.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I can see that that fence is hanging over into the right of way on the sidewalk.
Well, the fence is in such disrepair that when the wind blows from the north-south, it literally will lay
on the
over
sidewalk.
into the sidewalk, yeah, because the main beams are broken at the bottom.
All right, I got it. All right, in case CE 220800562, I make the following findings of fact on live find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of code sections 18106A. There is trash and debris on the property. 18106B. That grass and weeds on the property are exceeding 6 inches in height is 74C5. That there's trash and debris on the right of way. 781. That the fence is at times hanging over and blocking the right of way on the sidewalk. And 94302A4. That the fence is in disrepair. Respond to 60 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $150 per day, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Number 26, 528 16th Street, CE 220800567.
Officer Underwood, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Property 528 16th Street was cited for clean and sanitary conditions, excessive growth, clean to the center of the right-of-way, and fence wall maintenance. Property was originally cited on August 31st, 2022. Certified mail was sent out January 24th, 2023. Property and City Hall were posted January 24th, 2023. And certified mail was signed and returned February 2nd. Again, I was originally in contact with this property owner, and we were on the verge of getting things cleaned up and fixed, and when we hit a brick wall, and we have come to a complete standstill. The city is requesting 60 additional days or $150 a day thereafter to come into compliance.
Thank you. And is there an executed affidavit of posted in your file?
Yes.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it does.
And the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes.
And just for the record, to be clear, you had mentioned that this 528 16th Street is a commercial property related to the last property that we had here.
Correct.
And basically your testimony in the last property, would that be equivalent here? And can you just put on the record very briefly what it is you saw in this property?
This property had lots of trash and debris, specifically in that picture right there that has been cleaned up, and there's still some residual trash and debris there, but we had a serious problem with a homeless camp right where that picture is, and the property owner took out quite a bit of trash and debris from there, and if you keep going, and the overgrowth obviously on the walls for the fence that's in between there, you can't even see the fence because the overgrowth is so bad on the right-hand side. If you scroll through the pictures. The fence is deteriorating and in disrepair, just like the rest of the property.
So again, we're talking about a chain link fence.
Chain link fence. In the original pictures from the initial inspection, it had razor wire throughout the whole property, which is prohibited for safety throughout the city. Even commercial properties, it's prohibited. That has since been taken down. As you can see in the pictures, it's not there. It also had 3 strands of barbed wire that is taken down in some spots and left in others. So it's, they started the job and never finished it. The fence there overhangs the sidewalk, and that gate also, sometimes they leave open and blocks the sidewalk so you can't walk by.
And there's still excessive growth in terms of grass and weeds?
Correct. Throughout the whole property, specifically there and on the other side of the property.
And so even though there's been some progress, as you mentioned, each one of these alleged violations are still out of compliance?
Correct.
Okay. And do you believe that 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence. City's Composite Exhibit 1. All right, in case CE 2208057, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. Whether property in violation of Code Sections 18106A, trash and debris on the property, 18106B, grass and weeds that are in excess of 6 inches in height. 744C5, there is trash and debris on the right-of-way, and 94302A4, that the fence is in disrepair. I give the respondent 60 days to bring the property in compliance, a fine of $150 per day, Master.
Thank you.
Number 27, North Mangonia Drive, CE 230100012.
Officer Underwood, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Property North Mangonia Drive was initially cited January 3rd. Certified mail was sent out February 1st. City Hall and the property were both posted February 1st. It was signed and returned February 3rd. I have been in contact with this owner. That was cited for, parking requirements, unpaved parking. They're using this lot as a parking ground. All the neighbors, they park their vehicles there. It's constantly different cars there. Some of them same, some of them are different, but they're using it as a parking grounds overnight, over weekends, school buses, and specifically that white car is there all the time. And I've talked to the owner. He put up a sign and isn't enforcing it. And so with that being said, as of this morning, it has not come into compliance, so the city is requesting additional 5 days or $100 a day thereafter.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes.
And was the notice of violation, sent by regular first-class mail? I apologize.
Yes, it was.
The address is given as just North Mangonia Drive without a property number. Is that what you're finding?
Yeah, according to property appraiser, there is no address. It's an empty lot, so.
Very good, thank you. And do you believe that 5 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to to get these vehicles off the property?
It should be, yes.
Okay, and the photographs that we're reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately represent the alleged violation you've observed of the property?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documentation.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as city's composite exhibit. So it's not the owner's cars that are being parked here, it's the neighbors that are using this as a parking lot?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And the owner put a sign up, but that hasn't stopped them from
Against the
parking?
tree right there, yeah. And it was knocked over a couple times, and then he has since put it back as I talked to him, I think it was Monday, I believe I talked to him. He says he can't do anything about it.
I'm going to give him a little more time to figure it out. I'm going to give him 10 days.
That's fine.
All right, in case CE 230100012, make the following findings of fact and law. If notice is sufficient to find the property in violation 9442A. Give the respondent 10 days to bring the property into compliance by meeting the parking requirements of the city. Or what fine were you seeking here?
$100 per day.
Or a fine of up to $100 per day, Major.
Thank you.
Number 28 is complied, 1338 North Mangonia Drive, CE 230100271. Number 29 is complied, 100 South Dixie Highway, CE 230100175. Number 30 is complied, Okeechobee Road, CE 230102222. Number 31, 208 Fern Street. Number 1010, CE 230102225.
Michael Williams, excuse me, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 208 Fern Street, unit number 1010 was initially cited on 1/20/23. Certified mail was sent on 1/26/23. We do have a signed certified mail receipt on file. This complaint was initiated by the respondent who actually came into City Hall to complain about some conditions of the equipment inside of his unit. The property was cited for 18103-I, equipment maintenance, which there was some wiring that was hanging out from the range hood. There was some cracks that were in the tub, new tub that was installed. And also the refrigerator door does not secure. The respondent actually has to keep tape on the door in order to keep it secured. This is a senior citizen residential building. I believe it's 12 stories. And what they've done is they've actually renovated the entire building, which was very much so needed. And in so doing, there has been some minor glitches with some of the equipment, some of the brand new equipment that's being installed. And so this happens to be one of those units. I spoke to, on last evening, I spoke to David Rosario, who's a project manager. He is aware of the violations. He said that they have corrected 2 of the violations, which they had. There were some electrical wires that were sticking out from the range hood and tub, cracks in the tub rather. And he said they're in process of getting the refrigerator door fixed, and so they are requesting some additional time. The city's amenable to giving them an additional 30 days in order to comply, or a fine of $50 per day be imposed.
Thank you. Officer Williams, just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
There is.
And does the affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes,
Was City Hall posted with the notice of violation?
that's correct.
Was the property posted with the notice of violation?
Yes, the notice of violation was posted on the respondent's door.
And the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you observed at the property?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And you talked about the fact that they are making progress. Do you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring the remaining alleged violation into compliance?
I do. As I said, the wiring from the that was sticking out from the range hood area, that's been corrected. There was some minor cracks in the tub. Those have been remedied as well. And the refrigerator door, for whatever reason, does not stay closed unless it's taped. So I think 30 days is more than sufficient.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documentation relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence of the city's composite Exhibit 1. In case CE 230100225, I make the following findings of fact and law. I notice is sufficient for the property violation of 18103I. Specifically, the range hood is missing. Range hood is missing with exposed wiring. The tub has cracks, and the refrigerator door is not secure. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance, or fine of up to $50 per day. May issue.
Number 32 is complied. 513 Clematis Street, number 101 Rush Bowls, CE 230100268. Number 33 is complied. 525 Clematis Street, Kapow, West Palm Beach, CE 230100272. Number 34 is complied. 517 Clematis Street, CE 230100317. Number 35 is complied. 525 Clematis Street, BRK Republic, CE 230100318. Number 36 is complied. 1600 Florida Road, Florida Ave, CE 230100025. Number 37, 1605 Florida Avenue, CE 230100031.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property at 1605 Florida Avenue was originally cited January 3rd, 2023. The regular and certified mail was sent out January 6, 2023. That was received January 9th, 2023. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted on January 25th, 2023, and an affidavit of posting was prepared and placed in the case file. To date, I've had contact with the owner. They were originally cited for 34102A for the junk or abandoned inoperative vehicle that is in the driveway, and 9471-C for outdoor storage, various items that were stored on the property. To date, they've complied 9471-C. So 34102A for the inoperative vehicle is still outstanding as of this morning. The city is requesting 30 days to bring the property into compliance or a $50 a day fine thereafter.
Thank you, Officer Williams. Just a couple of questions. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violation you observed at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it about the vehicle that you observed that makes it a junk or abandoned or inoperative?
It does not have a tag on it.
Okay. And do you believe that 30 days is enough time, a reasonable amount of time within which to bring this alleged violation into compliance?
Yes, ma'am. The owner requested 10 days. I gave him 30 just to make sure that he was able to get that into compliance.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documentation relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence. The city's composite exhibit 1 in case CE 230100331 to make the following findings of fact and law. Find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 34102A. Specifically, there is a junk, abandoned, or inoperable vehicle on the property. I give the respondent 30 days to bring the property into compliance by either removing the vehicle or making it operable, or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Number 38, 1714 Florida Avenue, CE 230100032.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property at 1714 Florida Avenue was originally cited on January 3rd, 2023. The regular and certified mail was sent out January 6th, 2023. That was received January 9th, 2023. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted on January 25th, 2023, and an affidavit of posting was prepared and placed in the case file. To date, I've had no contact with the owner. They were originally cited for 18106K for landscape maintenance and 94442C-1 for the artificial turf that is installed in the front lawn and visible from the street. As of this morning, all violations are still present on the property. The city is requesting 60 days to bring the property into compliance or a $100 a day fine thereafter.
Thank you. Officer Williams, just a couple of questions. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
With regard to the artificial turf, is it the turf area that once they remove that, that's where the sod needs to be laid for the landscape maintenance?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other areas of the property that you viewed that don't have sod, that need ground cover?
No, ma'am. Not that I could observe from the street.
Okay. And the artificial turf, just to be clear for the record, you saw that or viewed or observed that in the front of the property or any other place? What other place?
Yes, ma'am. It's to the front, in the front yard of the property.
Very good. Thank you. You indicated you had no contact with the owner or representative.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any progress at all?
No, ma'am. Not as of this morning.
Okay. Do you believe that 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documentation relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept that evidence. The arbitrary case file in this case, the city's composite exhibit 1, including all the documents mentioned by the city attorney. Just so I'm clear here, the concern here is that the areas that are currently where the artificial turf here is the city's position under 18106K, that those have to be sod or land cover or plant material?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that's just this area in the front yard that we're looking at?
Yes, sir.
All right. In case CE 230100032, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 18106K and 944C1, specifically the area being covered by artificial turf in the front lawn needs to be properly landscaped with the materials approved by the city. Respondent has 60 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of up to $100 per day. May go.
Number 39, 2109 Dock Street, CE 230100033.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property here at 2109 Dock Street was originally cited on January 4th, 2023. Regular and certified mail was sent out January 6th, 2023. That was received January 9th, 2023. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted on January 25th, 2023. I have had contact with the owner. A affidavit of posting was prepared and placed in the case file. They were originally cited for 94482A for the vehicle parked on an unpaved surface in the front lawn of the property, and 7434A1J. As of this morning, they have complied with 94482A. They've removed the vehicle from the unpaved surface there. However, 7434A1J is still out of compliance. The city is requesting 5 days to bring the property into compliance or a $25 a day fine thereafter.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've seen or observed at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
And just to be clear, the trash can is visible to the public from the sidewalk or street. Is that the allegation?
Yes, ma'am.
As of your most recent inspection, does that trash can still visible to the public?
Yes, ma'am.
During a day or a time when it's
Yes.
not supposed to be because of the garbage pickup time?
Yes, ma'am. As of this morning, it's still in the same place.
Okay. And do you believe 5 days is a reasonable amount of time?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents and evidence as City's Composite Exhibit 1. I'm going to give them a couple more days just because of communication. In case CE 230100033, make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 7434A1J, specifically that the garbage cans are in public view. Responded has 7 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $25 per day may issue.
Number 40, 928 Flamingo Drive, CE 230100036.
That one complied. That should have been taken off the...
Number 41, 2117 Dock Street, CE 230100037.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property at 2117 Dock Street was originally cited on January 4th, 2023. Regular and certified mail was sent out January 9th, 2023. That was received on January 23rd, January 11th, 2023. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted on January 25th, 2023, and an affidavit of posting was prepared and placed in the case file. To date, I've had no contact with the owner. They were originally cited for 18106B for excessive overgrowth of the grass on the property, 78-1 for obstruction of the right-of-way, overgrown hedges that had overgrown in the front and were blocking the sidewalk there, and 78-6 for the numbering standards. They do have the numbering standards on the mailbox, but it is not on the home itself. As of this morning, they have complied with 18106B for the excessive growth in the front yard. However, the hedges are still overgrown. The city is requesting 30 days to bring the property into compliance or a $50 a day fine thereafter.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of questions. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. In regards, you told us about the numbering that is just on the mailbox and not in the house, and the ordinance requires it to be on the house, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And can you just, for the record, just tell us very briefly what it is about the hedges?
So the hedges there in the front, hedges in the front along the gate there are overgrown and obstructing the right-of-way on the sidewalk there.
Okay, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documentation relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept an evidence. The evidentiary case file in this case is City's Composite Exhibit 1. So we just have the numbers and we have the hedge that appears to be growing over into the sidewalk there, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. In case CE 230100037, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 78-1, obstruction of the right-of-way. The hedges are blocking the sidewalk and they need to be trimmed back. And 78-6, numbering characters need to be on the home. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $50 per day may issue.
And lastly, number 42, 849 Ardmore Road, CE 230100039.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property at 849 Ardmore Road was originally cited January 4th, 2023. Regular and certified mail was sent out January 9th, 2023. That was received on January 23rd, 2023. The property as well as City Hall was posted on January 25th, 2023, and an affidavit of posting was prepared and pasted in the case file. To date, I've had no contact with the owner. They were originally cited for 18106B for excessive growth of their hedges, 78-1. Obstruction of the right-of-way, those hedges intruding on the sidewalk, and 78-6 for the numbering standards needing to be on the home. As of this morning, 18106-B, the excessive growth, and 78-1 for the obstruction of right-of-way have been complied. However, 78-6 for the numbering standards is still out of compliance. The city is requesting 10 days to bring that into compliance or a $25 a day fine thereafter.
Thank you. Excuse me, thank you. Just a couple of questions. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you observed to the property?
Yes, ma'am.
And as of your most recent inspection, the address characters have not been placed on the house. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And I think you said that you've had no contact.
Correct.
Okay. And Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents as evidence. The City's Composite Exhibit 1. So we're just down to the numbers, huh?
Yes, sir.
They're on the mailbox, but not the house, huh?
Correct.
You've had no contact with them. I wonder if they misunderstand the requirement. All right, CE 230100039, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of 78-6 that their number standards, that the address characters are not on the home. I'm going to give the respondent a little more time. I'm going to give them 14 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $25 per day may issue.
Thank you, sir.
I think that's it for the regular schedule. Does anyone need a break, or do we want to just move on to a...
Actually, can we have like a 3-minute break?
Yeah, let's take 5 minutes. All right, we are back in session. This is the other matters section of the special magistrate hearing. The cases are going to be heard in the order in which they appear on the agenda. When you hear your case called, go ahead and proceed to the podium on my right-hand side. The city will make their presentation first, after which time you'll have an opportunity to ask me for what you are going to ask me when you come up here. Before you come up here, since it looks like most of these look like fine reduction cases, be prepared to ask me specifically for what you are asking me for, and give me the justification for why you are asking me for it. So tell me what you want and why you want it. And then I will proceed to make a ruling. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, which means that the formal rules of evidence do not apply here. However, all testimony is taken under oath under penalty of perjury. So if you're going to testify today, or you think you might testify, or there's a possibility that you might testify, please rise and raise your right hand, and I will swear you in.
Dr. Scurvy. Scurvy.
Ms. Lynn?
Anna. No, just, you gotta swear in.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury and the laws of the state of Florida?
Yes.
All right. Please be seated before we get started. Do keep in mind just a couple of thoughts as we go here. First and foremost, I have to follow the rules of the city, and the city has very specific requirements for reductions of fines, which are in the city code, which hopefully, having come here, you've taken the time to read. And also keep in mind that I have to apply a fair standard to everyone. All right. With that done, city can call the first one.
First case number 18213, Quail Meadow Trace, CE 180400149.
Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. Case CE 180400149 was cited on April 11, 2018. Property was cited for failure to obtain a rental license and certificate of use. Property was given 10 days for compliance or $100 a day. Property failed to comply in the time given and was out of compliance for 1,614 days, resulting in a lien amount of $161,400. The owner caused the violation. The city is seeking 25%.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
My name is Anna Lin.
And you're the owner of the property, ma'am?
Excuse me?
You're the owner of the property?
Yes, I am.
Okay, tell me what you're asking me for and why I should grant it to you.
Okay, I didn't know the lien was placed on me. May I read what I wrote because I'm so nervous? I say, Your Honor, I didn't know the lien was placed on my house until I heard it from my buyer's lawyer. I have a contract of selling the house for $350,000. I bought the house not for investment. I didn't make any money from the house.
Okay, can you read just a little bit slower?
In fact, I lost more than $100,000 from the house. I paid about $325,000 just right before the stock crash in 2008. Later, I rented out for $1,500 to a young man every month. He also had his friends sharing the rent with the house. My mortgage payment was about $1,600 each month, and the HOA and POA was about $433 each month. I laid out about $400 to $500 a month for about 10 years. That's not including the upkeep of the house. I keep the house in perfect condition. I have changed the entire roof a few years ago, spending about $25,000. Replaced central air conditioner, also spent close to $10,000. Wash machines, pressure washing the house every year, just to name a few. I have to sell the house because 4 years ago I went through a life and death traumatic situation where my ex-husband had an affair with a friend who was working in our company. Him and my partner together, they kicked me out of the company, which I started. I invited them to join the company. Before they kicked me out of the company, they tricked me into borrowing $85,000 to a 12 to 14% interest rate loan. I didn't have an income and lost my family. I had invested all my life saving into the company. For 3 years, I was in deep depression and couldn't work. I am owed almost 3 years of back rent in New York. That is why I am selling the house. I am in a much better state of mind now. I plead and beg you to fine me by my not getting the information from my tenant. The lien notice was sent to the house where my tenant lived. My tenant didn't give me the notice. If I knew it, I wouldn't have just let it keep accumulating penalties. I would have taken care of it right away. Anyway, I am at your mercy. I don't want to fail again in life. I want to do my best to pay for the fine that I will receive. I believe you will be fair and just, but beg you to consider my situation. Thank you kindly.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. It sounds like you've had a very difficult time of it. The city's offer was to reduce it from 161,400 by 75% to, if I did the math correctly here, that's 40,350?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, I think my tenant moved out on October 15th last year.
Yeah, I mean, one of the keys to all of these things is always proper notice. So it's important when we own rental property that when we register our property with the county, that the address that we give to the property appraiser for the property appraiser's records is the address that we receive information on, and I think
know,
that's what happened here.
I totally understand.
The city's requirement, right, is to send it, because they wouldn't know how to find you otherwise. They go to the property records and they say, what's the address for the person that owns this property, and that's how they do their notice.
I know.
And so that's how something like this can go on.
I totally understand, I just wanted to hope to get a little bit less fine because I didn't.
Make me, like I said when I started here, you have to ask me for something. So ask me, give me a number. What is it that you're asking me for?
Is it okay, $5,000?
That's a lot less than the city's offer. What does the city think of 5,000?
I paid a lot of taxes throughout years, and I actually lost a lot of money on the house, but I never not pay tax. I'm an honest, I make an honest living. I'm a good American citizen.
I'm sure that's true of everyone in the room. This is not a criminal court, and nobody's here. It's just being prosecuted for being a bad person. The respondents offered 5,000. What's the city's response on that?
Special Magistrate, do you have any recommendations?
Ultimately, I decide. I'm asking what your response is to theirs.
Yeah, just a second. Special Magistrate, the city's willing to counter with 10,000.
I think that's pretty fair.
Okay, it is, just in case if I don't sell the house, if the contract fell through, could you give me a little time?
How much time do you need?
Like half a year. But if I sell the house, if the house goes through, I will pay right away. Is that okay?
I'll give you 90 days.
Huh?
I'll give you 90 days.
Okay.
So in case CE 180400149, I'll reduce the fine to $10,000 payable within 90 days. Now, it's important to remember, if you don't pay the fine within 90 days, it returns. Okay.
I know.
Ms. Lynn, here's a copy of your order. Yes, you're done. Case number 2624 35th Street, CE 15080527, 624 35th Street.
Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. KCE 1508-0527 was cited on August 17, 2015. Property was cited for failure to obtain the boarding certificate. Property was given 10 days for compliance or $100 a day. Property failed to comply and was out of compliance for 505 days, resulting in a lien amount of $50,500. Special Magistrate, this is a new owner. The city is seeking 15%.
Thank you. Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
My name is Ayana Jeffrey.
New owner, applicant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you say Ariana Jeffrey?
Ayana.
Ayana Jeffrey. Hey, Ms. Jeffrey, why don't you tell me what you're asking me for and why I should grant it to you?
Okay, we would like to request a 100% reduction in the liens. The liens were incurred before San Jose General Contractors bought the property.
Or you have to speak up and a little bit slower and try and speak into the mic, otherwise I can't hear you.
Got it. We're requesting a 100% reduction in liens, if possible, because they were incurred before San Jose General Contractors bought the property. All the Code Enforcement Department regulations have been complied with since the property was purchased. We are a small company, and of course our normal financing has been delayed until the liens are just discharged, and we've had to spend significant working capital going forward with the project before we get our financing. So we would like a reduction as low as you can go. It would be wonderful for us.
Okay, well, I can tell you, and for everyone in the room, generally, I don't go for the total reduction, and I will tell you why, just as a matter of public policy. I don't want to encourage anyone who's watching this on TV or anywhere else to think that the way that they get out of code enforcement liens is just to transfer the property to somebody else, right?
Understood.
And then the person can come back and say, hey, it wasn't me, because otherwise then the code would mean nothing, right?
Got it. Understood.
Right. The city has made the offer to reduce it from $50,500 to 15%, which I'm doing math on the fly here, so
Approximately 7,500.
$7,575, which strikes me as fairly reasonable, but I'll let you make me an offer. I'm going to tell you I won't go for zero, so you have
Got
to
it.
make me something reasonable.
Yeah. You did ask me to tell you what I wanted.
Okay,
So I
that's
did.
fair. I'm not blaming you. I'm just telling you got to make me a different one.
Yes. Can we settle at 2,500?
I'll tell you what, I'll settle at 3,000.
Okay.
All right, in case CE 150800527, make the following findings. I don't have to do that. I'm going to reduce this to 3,000. How much time do you need?
Can we have 30 days? We should be able to.
Reduce to $3,000, 30 days. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 3, 2507 25th Way, CE 21010054.
Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on January 7, 2017. Property was cited for failure to obtain the rental license, certificate of use. Property was given 10 days to comply or $100 a day. Property failed to comply and was out of compliance for 630 days, resulting in a lien amount of $63,000. Special Magistrate, the applicant is the cause of the violation. The city is seeking 25%.
Sir, can you tell me your name?
My name is Adrian Arias. I'm the attorney for the respondent Tall Roof LLC.
All right. So tell me what you're asking for and why I should grant it to you.
We're asking for a lien reduction, full payment of $1,000. Essentially, the client did not do this either intentionally or maliciously, Your Honor. It seems that they'd never updated the address on the property appraiser's address, so the notice went to a different address. But suffice it to say that the year before the violation was cited, they did have the certificate of use. So it has been ongoing and they have been complying. The only reason they found out that this had even occurred was because they tried to sell the property and then the notice came up. Well within a couple of weeks after being informed of this, they made all the processes and are now up to date with their certificate of use. So this is essentially just an issue of not having received the notice. Albeit that it was not corrected on the tax appraiser's office, we're asking for a little mercy here.
Well, I am in the mercy business, but I'm not in that much of the mercy business. Yeah, this is a common problem. It's people not updating their addresses, and the notices going in ways that they come in and they say they don't have them, and that is a problem. The city's offered to reduce it from 63,000. What they say, 25%. So what is that?
15,750.
50.
Calculator.
Just to put it in perspective as well, Your Honor, I understand that the city's has the right to issue assessments here, but we request not to be ruined because this is not the only property. There's actually 4 other properties that this issue had occurred with as well. So coming out of pocket a little too much might put us into bankruptcy here.
All right. Well, I'm not going to reduce it to 1,000, but make me a better offer.
About 2,000.
I don't know if I can go that low here. 630 days.
Again, Your Honor, it wasn't intentional. Is 2,500 going to do it?
Let me see some. I'm just doing some math here. If I reduced it, well, what was the city's offer? 1570, 15,000?
15,750.
I'd be willing to cut the city's offer in half to 7,500, which I think is pretty reasonable under the circumstances.
We can't go anywhere half that amount, Your Honor.
That's sort of where I'm at. I don't know where the city's at.
Where would you, Special Magistrate?
Again, this wasn't intentional.
We understand that, but it is a renewal, and as you mentioned in your own statement, you guys have several properties where this occurred, so it's not a lack on the city. It's something either with the owners or the management company, and that's not for the city to take the brunt of that.
All right. All right. Apparently I'm in a better mood. I'm going to do it at 10%, which is 6,300. That's where I'll go. All right. How much time do you need?
90 days if possible.
All right. I'll give you the 90 days. All right. We'll reduce 63,000 to 6,300 payable within 90 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
A copy of the order. Number 4, 1701 Village Boulevard, 208 CE 22050318.
Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement with the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on May 26, 2022. Property was cited for failure to renew their rental license and certificate of use. Property was given 15 days or $100 a day for compliance. Property failed to comply and was out of compliance for 373 days, resulting in a lien amount of $6,900. Special magistrate, the applicant is the cause of the violation. The city is seeking 25%.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Yes, Jeffrey Gray. Good morning.
All right, so tell me what you're asking me for and why I should grant it to you.
I'm looking for a reduction possibly to $500. Once we found this out, I represent the property management company that handles these properties. We pay probably over 35 licenses consistently to the county. This one was somehow passed up. Don't know what happened, why we didn't get this one paid or on the notification. We did have a tenant in there until September they moved out, which was most of the time that this license was expired. They moved out 9/2. We listed the property for sale, and as such, when I was discovered the payment hadn't been made, I believe it was 10/27, I paid it. Again, we pay over 30 licenses now, and just asking for some leniency from the courts.
So city's offer is $1,725. You're asking me for $500.
Yes, sir, I can pay that today if I can pay with my card.
Tell you what I'll do. I'll reduce it to $1,000. I'll give you 30 days.
1,030?
Yep.
All right.
CE 2205031A reduced to $1,000 payable 30 days.
Thank you.
Number 5, 3025 Robert Road, CE 200900343. Also number 6 for the same address, 3025 Robert Road, CE 200900345.
Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. KCE 20090343 was cited on September 23rd, 2020 for clean and sanitary, landscape maintenance, failure to obtain rental license, certificate of use, trash can in public view, soil and parkway violations, unpaved parking, screening of a restricted vehicle, and outdoor storage. Property was given 30 days or $100 a day to comply. Property failed to comply in the time allotted. Property was out of compliance for 373 days, resulting in a lien amount of $37,300. The applicant is the cause of the violation. The city is seeking 25%.
Good afternoon, everyone. Kevin Diaz on behalf of the property owner.
You want me to run through the other one, or? It's 5 and 6.
Is it the same property?
Same property.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. KCE 20090345 was cited on September 17, 2020. Property was cited for failure to obtain certificate of use and a business tax. Property was given 30 days or $100 a day to achieve compliance. Property failed to comply and was out of compliance for 373 days, resulting in a lien amount of $37,300 on Code Sections 82-144 and a one-time fine of $250. I'm sorry, $37,300 on Code Section 2232A and a one-time fine on Code Sections 82-144. The city is seeking 25% of the $37,300 and no reduction for the $250.
So together we got $74,850. Sir, can you tell me your name?
Kevin Diaz on behalf of the property owner.
Are you an attorney, sir?
I am, sir.
Floor is yours.
Well, this particular property owner, and we've been working with the city on this property and some other properties. This is a single-family REIT, so it's a little bit outside of the normal, I would say, code enforcement process. Our challenge, putting aside that this was peak pandemic, is not only of the sheer size of this REIT, but also the restrictions we have when we have tenants involved. We try to move it as quickly as possible with some limitations, of course, under Florida law and also
our lease agreements, but we did try to comply as best we could during peak pandemic. We're just asking for a reduction of $2,500, which will be consistent around the range of other settlements that we've reached with the city.
That's a lot of code sections for a relatively long time.
Understood.
How long was this out of compliance?
I'm sorry.
How long was this out of compliance?
It was out of compliance for 373 days, both ends.
And let me just say, we're not trying to minimize the importance of the code or minimize the duration. We would just ask that it be acknowledged, this was peak pandemic and we did have tenants. So our hands were, for the most part, tied as to what we could and couldn't do. And respectfully, we continue to try and maintain a positive relationship with the city. And we hope to resolve all issues as quickly as possible.
So the city's offer was what, 25%?
Yes, sir.
So the city offer combined would be 18,712. And you've offered what, 2,500 for both?
Yes, please.
So you've offered 1,250 per case.
Yes, if we're dividing it in half, yes.
I'm going to guess, since you've been sitting in this room, that you're going to guess that I'm probably not going to go that low. But you're so far from the city, I don't even know how to negotiate the difference between where you guys are.
I don't think we're that far apart, especially given the prior cases that have gone before me. But, you know, I would hope the city reconsider their position. This is a very large single-family REIT. So this is a relationship we hope to maintain, and we just are looking for some consideration given the factors of this particular case. Respectfully.
I mean, the officer on the case at the time has a lot of notes showing that she did reach out to the management company several times. They spoke on several occasions about inspecting the property. She even reached out and spoke to the actual tenants of the property, even giving them leniency because one of the tenants was hospitalized. So, I mean, to go this long without trying to comply this, you know, it's a failure on the property management, more so on the city not trying to, you know, work with you guys. There's several notes here on both cases.
No, I can appreciate that.
So, I mean,
I definitely appreciate that, but I think that statement is consistent with my concerns that when you have tenants, specifically tenants with health issues, peak pandemic, it is very difficult.
We understand, which is why I said she wrote in here that that was the case, so that's why she tried to work with the management company, Donovan Hines of First Key Homes, who was managing the property at the time. They spoke about this exact issue, and she was not sure if the tenant that was in the hospital, if it was COVID related, so they did agree to some type of solution of doing the interior inspection, but all the other violations still remain. So, you know, pandemic or not, she went above and beyond to try and help this management company gain compliance. The failure for 373 days, I mean, the city tried.
Yeah.
We can most certainly say that. She definitely went out of her way.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to minimize it. Let me first respond and then update the offer just to hopefully show that we are working in good faith. Again, being an attorney that has worked during the pandemic with tenant issues, with specific property outside of single-family homes, the law was not in our favor. The law, and it very much limited what single-family REITs or landlords could do. And once we were able to take possession or ultimately reach resolutions with tenants, that's when we were saddled with curing, which triggered secondary issues, which was finding personnel to solve the issues, which also was pandemic related. I think
Yeah, though, in fairness, I mean, the problems you're describing were not unique to your client. I mean, they were problems that many had, and the vast majority of landlords in the city managed to stay within code. So in a lot of ways, while I recognize that this was a difficult environment to operate in, I also know the city went out of their way to try and find ways to make it work during that time period. So while I think it is a form of mitigation that I'm willing to accept, it doesn't seem to be a form of mitigation that should strike, you know, a $37,000 fine down to $1,000.
And just to update, I did say I would update it. I think increasing it to 5,000
Each?
global. And I'm speaking in global terms, just to clarify.
Well, as a procedural, I have to deal with each case separately, so I'd have to produce the fine procedurally for each one. So what you're offering is $2,500 per. What you'd like me to reduce it to is $2,500 per. Where was the city? The city's original offer was what, 18?
Altogether, but separate, 9,000, roughly, 325, I think.
Do you want me to do the math on the separate cases, or do you want just the global?
So the city was basically, so when the city was at 18.7, you were basically at about 9 and change per case, essentially.
9,325.
That's the problem with doing the two cases at once.
Yeah, 325, yeah, thank you.
9,325 on the first case, and then on the second case, 9,325 plus $250.
You're fired again.
I'll tell you what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to reduce each one to $4,500. Which gets you to $9,000 total.
Thank you, Mr. Magistrate.
And I'm willing to give you time. How much do you need?
45 days?
Don't usually do it in those, 60 days. It's easier for us. All right, 4,500 each case, 60 days.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Number 7, 739 High Street, CE 21050053.
Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach, case CE 210-50053, was cited on April 30th, 2021. Property was cited for landscape maintenance, trees and hedges obstruction the right-of-way, and clean up the center of the right-of-way. Property was given 30 days, $100 a day to achieve compliance. Property failed to comply in that time frame and was out of compliance for 208 days, resulting in a lien amount of $20,800. Special Magistrate, the applicant is the cause of the violation. The city is seeking 25%.
Sir, can you tell me your name?
Daniel Gomez.
Mr. Gomez, tell me what you're asking for and why I should grant it to you.
It's significantly a lot less. I put it into compliance almost immediately after I maintained the property myself. Probably 3 or 4 days, I trimmed everything back. I was then told I had to have an inspection with them in order to meet, for them to clear the violation, I guess. And I waited there. We had a scheduled appointment. I waited I had to call off work, be late into work. I waited about 20, 30 minutes past the appointment time. They still did not show up. So I just went to work and, never heard anything else about that. The only reason I ever heard about it following up again is because I was trying to refinance last year, February of 2022, my house, because I could barely afford. And then I was told about this, that I had no idea. At any time the city could have reached out to.
Well, that doesn't sound good at all. What did the notes say in the file?
It was immediately taken care of.
It shows here that she's had several conversations with the owner, Mr. Gomez, on a few occasions, and it all failed up until the February 10th, 2022. So she puts here that, hold on, sorry, I gotta.
Yeah, we had an appointment for a inspection outside. Said I had waited about 30 minutes past the appointment time. I thought it was outside too, so they would be able to see, even without me there. I tried to, but I had a work call that I had to go back to.
I mean, yeah, according to her notes, that was not, it was not in compliance up until February 10th of 2022.
That's incorrect.
She
I have
puts here
many-
that she's had a few recorded conversations with you in reference to she put here, Officer Benz went over violation, property owner will take care of the violation. This was on June 22nd, 2021.
Yeah, I immediately
and on
took
Hold on
action.
1 second. Let me hear what the notes say, and then I'll come back to you, okay?
And then on July 19th of 2021, that's when the property was taken to hearing. No, hold on. It says hearing here. Oh, reinspection after the hearing. On July 19th, 2021 is when she reinspected the property and also submitted the affidavit of noncompliance. Yeah, and I think the last phone call she had with you in reference, it just all, right here just shows her finding the property in violation after the hearing. And the last conversation that the officer had with you was on February 10, 2022, where she said she received a phone call from Daniel Gomez about fines and failed rental license. Officer Benz explained fines on property and failed BTR. Officer Benz explained to Daniel on how to stop fines and have fines reduced to complete a lien reduction application process. When the information was given to Mr. Gomez, Officer Benz will re-inspect property and stop the fines based on the inspection results. So based on the officer's notes, I mean, she was in contact with you. She inspected the property after the hearing. It was in violation still.
What was the date that they had in 2021 when, because I mean, immediately after?
There's several notes
did
here
they
from
have
the
a-
2021 one.
For
Okay,
the
let me see if I can get to touch. So when do you say that you you believe that you brought the property into compliance?
I mean, immediately, I wasn't giving specifics. I trimmed the entire back, Bougainvillea. I mowed it, all back there.
About when?
Within a week of receiving it, and then I just tried to schedule.
Receiving what?
The notice that it was out of, that I was gonna be receiving a $100 a day violation.
So the notice of the special magistrate order?
Yeah, immediately.
And when did the officer inspect for noncompliance?
She inspected for noncompliance on July 19, 2021.
And how?
The magistrate's order, the fine should have started on July 17, 2021. So she gave the 2-day grace
So
period.
2 days later, yeah, but I was there, I was waiting to meet her for the inspection to say, is everything within compliance?
All
Is
right,
everything- And nothing was
Can I
given to
interject
me.
here a little bit? So even, let's say, even if they fail to meet on the assigned date or whatever, these are outdoor violations. So let's say you did have an appointment with her prior to her filing out the affidavit of noncompliance. There is no reason your absence
Yeah.
would cause for the violations to continue. The pictures from the 19th will show that it was still in violation.
It was not made aware to me that I was
Can we
not
pull up the
in
pictures from the
violation
19th?
or anything like
We
that.
will pull up the pictures from the
19th, I
magistrate's
wasn't
order.
aware.
Okay,
Um,
okay, one at a time, one at a time.
I was
Sorry.
not, I was not aware. If the city would have just made me aware at that time, on the 19th, that it was still not in compliance, because I had no idea. I even followed up a week later, trying to reach out and call and find any information out. No one followed up or anything, so I just thought I was fine, and I
But just
never even.
hold on 1 second. So you thought that was in compliance?
Yes, after the 19th, that doesn't look like the day of the 19th. I'm not sure after I had trimmed it, right immediately after. But yeah, if you compare it to the other houses down the street, there's a lot more that are further overgrown into the alleyway than mine was. So
Well,
that's,
I can't do comparisons, but if that's what the inspector saw on the 19th, I can understand why the inspector decided not to see that you were in compliance.
I was not aware. If I would have just been made aware of what exactly was not in compliance, then because like I said, I just compared to down the street and everything else, and I was like, there's nothing blocking the alleyway. There was nothing, that's why I tried to be there for the, appointment time, but they weren't timely. They didn't come on time, and so now here we are. And if they would have just let me know afterwards, I would have immediately fixed it, And now my whole refinancing, that was a year ago, just February of 2021, 2022, and now, I can't refinance for anywhere near. So it's
Sir, I
costing
mean,
me.
when you come in here, I really do try to give you the benefit of the doubt, but it's hard for me to look at this picture and for you to reasonably believe that this is compliance. It's just hard for me to think that that's what you would think.
I mean, there was no, like I said, there was no communication of how to comply. That's my bougainvillea that was trimmed way further back, because there was a few, just couple strands that were hanging out into the roadway. There was nothing in the roadway, and if you looked at the whole street, you would see that there was ones that were, way
All right,
more
well,
into
I
the
mean,
street, overgrown.
I don't
into the
think
street.
sort of repeating this is gonna help us too much. So the current fine on the property is what, 20,800? The city's offer is what?
5,200.
I'm sorry, what was it?
5,200, 25%.
5,200? So the city's offered to reduce it from 20,800 to 5,200.
I'm at like maybe 200, sir. I mean, if they would have just let me know, and like I said, I've been keeping it up. Even after that, I went and still maintain and trim it up every time. I would have liked.
I heard you, and I guess from where I'm sitting, and remember, I'm the third party objective. I'm not a city employee. It sure looks like there were some issues on your property as of July 19th. I understand why the city didn't comply. Looks pretty clear to me.
I mean, I wish they would have met me at the, at our appointment time.
I can't speak to that because I have conflicting evidence here, because you're saying that you had a meeting, the officer's notes say that there was no meeting. I don't know what to do with that. What I do know is that the property wasn't in compliance, and the city's made an offer to reduce it from 20,800 to 5,200. I'm willing to listen to an offer.
I could really just do like 500 right now, sir. I really can't, afford this kind of, I was trying to refinance. This screwed up my entire refinancing because this whole process has taken another year. I paid, fees on fees on fees on re-inspections. It's happened at least 3 or 4 times now. Every time I keep trying to follow up and say, it's a lot like how this all started is because there was no follow-up or any communication after our meeting date. And if there had been...
I mean, that's tricky in some ways because the magistrate's orders always say that it's on the property owner to make sure that, they notify the city when you're in compliance. Now, you're telling me you did because you were in compliance right after the order. The pictures don't really suggest that to me, so I'm sort of mixed on what to do with that. I'm willing to go lower than the city's number. I'm not willing to go to $500, but if you make me a more reasonable offer, I'll probably take it.
I could really do 750, but I need really some time, sir, because, of the cost of living right now, and this is just completely unexpected. I've already lost my refinancing because of this, so I'm ready, out a lot in pocket.
This is a single-family home. How long was this out of?
Out of compliance, 208 days.
I can't get that low, but I can give you time.
I mean, I'm not, don't know what to.
Even if I went to 10%, you're still at 2,000.
Could you do 5% at 1,000, sir? I really, and I need time even for that. This is not, hedges that clearly, the whole street, it seems to be, only certain houses, because mine was not nearly as bad as other ones, and I thought it was in compliance. I continue to try to keep it always in compliance, and will follow any, city, as long as it's clear to me that when it's not and what is not, because it's not when I look it down the street.
I tell you what, I'll go to $1,250 and I'll give you 90 days. Good luck.
Next cases are all for 827 Briggs Street. Number 8, CE 1407085, number 9, CE 1410050, number 10, CE 17120406, number 11, CE 17120409, and number 12, PD 141120008.
Okay. Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement Officer with the City of West Palm Beach. Case CE 140-70585 was cited on July 23rd, 2014. The property was cited for failure to secure a building permit, repair dwelling to broken windows, interior alterations, and exterior work done without permits, clean and sanitary, failure to obtain a rental license and certificate of use. Property was given 10 days, or 100 a day to achieve compliance. Property was out of compliance for 2,796 days, which resulted in a lien amount of $2,796,000. City's requesting 25%. Case CE 1410050 was cited on, did I read that wrong? KCE 1410050 was cited on October 2nd, 2014. Property was cited for failure to secure a building permit. Property was given 30 days or $100 a day to achieve compliance. Property failed to comply and the fines and was out of compliance for 1,000. I did it wrong? No. Okay, property was out of compliance for 1,678 days, resulting in a lien amount of $167,800. City is seeking 25%. Case CE 171-20406 was cited on December 28, 2017. Property was cited for failure to obtain a rental license and certificate of use. Property was given 30 days or $100 to achieve compliance. Property was out of compliance for, sorry, let me make sure I have this right. Property was out of compliance, sorry, it's a lot. Property was out of compliance for 133 days, resulting in a lien amount of $13,300. City is also seeking 25%. Case CE 171-20409 was cited on December 28, 2017 for repairing of the roof, walls, and foundation, repairing of the interior walls, external doors and windows, clean and sanitary, landscape maintenance, boarding certificate, junk and abandoned vehicles, garbage can placement, and overgrowth. Property was out of compliance for 102 days, resulting in a lien amount of $20,400. City is seeking 25%. Oh, I forgot some violations. Landscaping of areas, unpaved parking, and outdoor storage. In case PD 141-2008 was cited on December 1st, 2014 for failure to declare the property was declared as a chronic nuisance. Property was out of compliance for 2,237 days, resulting in a lien amount of $1,118,500. City is also seeking 25%.
Special Magistrate, in that chronic nuisance case, the case came back in front of Special Magistrate Jennifer Ashton, and that's when, under the chronic nuisance case, per the procedures, per the testimony, per the evidence, she did order a $500 per day fine on this chronic nuisance case.
So let me just make sure that I understand before I ask to speak to this gentleman. the city currently has liens on this property in the amount of $4,116,000.
Yes.
I think that might be a record for me.
Let them.
Sir,
All right. Your Honor, I'd like
can you first just tell me your name, sir?
Lyubo Skarbik.
And you are the owner of the property, sir?
Yes, I'm the Honor.
So you have the distinct satisfaction of having the largest lien I think I've ever seen before me.
Well, 2014, I went to the city. I had a 5-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, a house. Nobody want to pay me for 5 bedrooms. They say I need only 3 bedrooms. So I had for $1,100 renting house of the 5 bedrooms. So I went to the city and I said, can I ask you a question? She said, I'm only one today. All personnel is gone for some training for I don't know how many, 10 days or something like that. But if you sit down, I'll go and check it out. And she is giving me, this is, you can see that is from the book of your code. And she highlighted even yellow. She said, you can put the 2 families together, but providing one door is connected to, and you cannot call that 2 units, it's just a family dwelling, and she gave it to me. So I put it, adjustment, and I left the 1 door connecting to that, and I rented the place. And here I got a tenant that he reported that is illegal, and I came for this, and Lillian said, it doesn't matter, it's by our records, by our policy, you cannot have it, you have to remove it. I spoke to the official Brown. He said, you can take a variance, and I never did a variance, so I said, look, I'll just remove that. And he said, I want you to remove it. So one day, maybe I don't know how many months after that, official Brown, assistant official, I know that he was a white hair. He came there, and Brown said, I want you just remove that and call me for inspection, you'll be done. The assistant official with a white hair and beard, he said, no, I want architectural drawing. And here and there, all of a sudden, they said, you have to make architectural drawing. The Lillian gave me $1,000 per day fine, 1,000. It doesn't exist in a law, anything like that. And she said 10 days, it took me 2 years to get 3 architects to do the drawing to get it approved by the city. Everything, electrical, plumbing, roofing, everything has to be done just like it didn't exist anything. So the bottom line, we had a year after that hearing, I went to the court. It was a interesting thing. The tenant was, his wife died in an accident as a policeman. So this man was getting, his daughter was getting like $1,200 the help from the city, and he had some kind of good connection with the police. So all time, every day, he was arguing with a rear house tenant. And one day, he punched a nose of this lady.
So
He called the police.
you're going all over the place. There's so many code violations on this property. It's so many. I mean, if the city declared your property a chronic nuisance, it means that they had to go out there and maintain your property for you. I mean, there's.
The essence of this chronic nuisance was through the police department. One moment, I can tell you in 1 moment.
Well, I have here the hearing of the proxy hearing. He was saying that I never tried to evict these people, and they were under eviction, both of them. So one of these tenants were in a court. He approached to the judge. He said, it's not true what officer said. We have a hearing.
I'm not in a position to relitigate these code sections because that's not the role of a fine reduction.
Case was dismissed. Here it is.
So, I mean, I almost hesitate to ask this, but there's a $4 million plus fine here. What are you asking me to do?
Look, this case was dismissed at 2015, was signed by judge.
Who's
So
Jack
after
and
that, we had.
hold on.
Go ahead.
What case was dismissed and who's Jack?
I'm not sure.
You want to see it?
Yeah, we can look at it, sure.
You can take this a page also, please. Besides violation for grass not clean and stuff like that, but all of this kind of stuff is.
Special Magistrate, the city wouldn't have an objection to the documents, just potentially relevance, but obviously, we're more than willing to review what the gentleman would like us to look at. In addition, the chronic nuisance is based on prior cases of residential burglary and theft, and these are all at the property. Disturbance, noise complaint, disturbance, noise complaint, disturbance, noise complaint, armed disturbance, cruelty to animals, disturbance, noise complaint, animal abuse, disturbance, noise complaint, theft, disturbance, noise complaint, vandalism or maliciousness, disturbance, noise complaint, simple battery, disturbance, noise complaint, disturbance, noise complaint. So our chronic nuisance ordinance does allow for a chronic nuisance case when these types of issues pop up, not just code enforcement issues. But again, it did come through to Special Magistrate Ashton, indicating that, and we can bring it up if you like, but indicating that the owner would need to get a COU for the property, and it would continue at the rate of $500 per day until the chronic nuisance case was brought into compliance.
What am I looking at here? Did the city bring an action in court?
Well, that appears to be some type of, not sure. Right.
Something in front of Judge Perez?
But that appears to be,
A motion for emergency hearing claiming the property will be shut down due to local code enforcement violations. This court is not aware of the shutdown order as claimed. This case before the court is, the city's not even party to this action. It looks like it's a county court action between the respondent here today and someone named Bartley. And a landlord-tenant action?
You're right.
So the only thing I can tell is that for a pretty long time, it looks like your property was a great big mess that the city had to deal with for years.
I don't understand why, because they continue.
You just heard the city attorney rattling off all the different problems going on your property. That the police had to be out there repeatedly.
Well,
I wasn't the magistrate that issued the nuisance order, but if the magistrate at the time ordered, just listen for a second. If the magistrate at the time ordered a nuisance order at $500 a day, what that tells me is that magistrate was very, very concerned about what was going on at that property.
Was dismissed. Police officer.
What are you asking me for here today, sir?
Police officer was telling that I never tried evict tenants, and tenant came and showed that it was not true. That's why.
Honestly, sir, whatever the issue is with your tenants here, and you can give this back to him because I don't know what this is relevant to me. This is between you and your tenant apparently. But whatever the issue is between you and your tenants, it's not. The question here is the city has 5 cases of violations, many of them which appear fairly serious, and $4 million worth of fines, And you've come here to ask me to reduce those fines, so the question I have for you, sir, is what are you asking me to do?
Your Honor, many inspections I passed, got a final. They removed, and they said has to be re-inspected because that inspector is no longer working for.
I feel like you're not hearing me. What are you asking me to do?
I'll give you $3,000 to just to
Your request is for me to reduce the
Please.
$4 million to $3,000.
But you see the nonsense, nonsense things.
I'm just not inclined to do that in this case, sir. I just don't see any support in either the evidence here, the severity of the action. You were the original owner, the amount of time the city put in this case. I don't see that here, sir.
I got a permit here by the city, and they told me that I have to, that they don't agree with that. So it's not my fault, Your Honor.
Special Magistrate, I just want to know, on top of these liens, if you look at the case history here, this property has been cited even after that numerous times. Look at all the cases after that. I mean,
Well, look, you have a tenants that make it. It's not from my side. I try to do myself as soon as possible to what you issued. You saw how fast I did it, but
Sir, so
Please.
here's my recommendation to you. I recommend that you set up a meeting with city staff and talk through what you can do here and maybe try and reach an agreement with. But at this time, based on what I've seen here, I'm not prepared to reduce a $4 million lien to $3,000 based on what I've heard today. It's just,
well, it's $1,000 a day, Your Honor. So that's not in the law. In the law book, it doesn't say that.
yeah,
You cannot-
I'm
it's
not
over.
comfortable making that ruling at this time. I would suggest that maybe you get some help with an attorney and sit down and talk to the city about how to resolve, because $4 million in liens is a very significant amount, and think maybe you can try and reach an agreement or negotiate with the city. But based on this evidence, I'm not taking any action whatsoever.
Well, look, this is, so what we are going to have, Supreme Court to take care about this?
I'd suggest you get some legal help and see if you can negotiate with the city. All right.
Why don't you ask the Brown official? He was there. He said, you don't need drawings. You don't need architectural. And
Sir,
that took it 3 years to
look,
get approved.
All I'm telling you is based on the evidence presented to me.
I got
I don't
evidence.
see a reduction of the fine here.
It
that
doesn't
makes
have a
any-
sense.
I mean, I could reduce it to, and what was it? Did the city actually make an offer here?
yeah, I mean, in total, with 25% on everything, it would be, sorry, give me just a second. And even then,
I mean,
it would still total out to $1,029,000. With the
Look
25%
at that property.
that we
It doesn't have a
offered.
sense, Your Honor.
Hold on one second. Go ahead. Yeah, it
Well,
looked like you wanted to say something.
I think we have to be mindful of, the printout sheet that you were given with regard to the property value, assessed value, taxable value, et cetera. But again, if Mr. Skirbick would like to sit down, please just contact, the city. Contact the city and.
I think my biggest problem here is not that I don't think that there could be a reduction here. My biggest problem here is that the fine amount is so substantial. The problems on the property are so significant that I don't think there's a way in the 5 minutes of this hearing to give an honest assessment of what a fair lien would be here, considering everything that's gone on this property. I hate to say it, I just don't think this case is ready for fine reduction. There's too much history in this case. There's too many cases, and the fine amount is just too much. Just throwing out random numbers in the millions of dollars, I don't think is helpful. I don't think it's helpful to this gentleman, and I certainly don't think it's helpful at this point. I think this is one of those that I think that the city and you have to sort of sit down and talk about whether there's a room for negotiation on what to do about this, because the numbers are just
Your Honor,
enormous here.
they the city sent me to you to decide, please. So you can do that. What's fair? What's other people, how they, The figures are not important because $1,000 is not correct. That's number one. Number two, I don't need an architectural drawing there. Everything is set up that they roll the time. All
right, well,
so you can see
let
that.
me do this before we go.
Go ahead, please.
If the city's position is that they want to reduce this to 25%, I'll do that. Is that the city's position?
Sir, I need a minute, please.
Yeah. Special Magistrate. Hey. So just going over everything, the city wants to offer $100,000 to split up through all the different cases.
How many cases do we have? 5?
Let me go. Yeah. Yeah. I'll count the cases.
So that'd be what, 20,000 a case?
2.5%? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cases? 6 cases in total.
Is it 6 cases in total?
Yeah, and you said some cases are less than what? I didn't hear you.
There's 5 on the agenda, isn't there? Application, there are 5.
Yeah. So we would just have to look at every case.
All right, so let's see, we can do, see, the first one is what, 2,776,000, right?
Yes, sir.
So what if we reduce that one to, let's say we reduce that one to 50. Then we reduce case 9 to 5, case 10 to 5, case 11 to 5. That's 50, 55, 60, 65. And that just gives us case 12.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that leave me left? 35?
We're
Does that math work?
60, 65. Yeah,
55, 10, 55,
Yeah.
60, 65. Yeah,
We're left with
I
35.
think that works, right?
Yeah.
All right. This is what we're gonna do. All right, I'm gonna rescind my previous order. You're gonna get one of the largest fine reductions in my history here. In case 8, for the record, we're gonna reduce the fine from $2,796,000 to $50,000. In case 9, we're going to reduce the $167,800 to $5,000. In case 10, we're going to reduce the $13,300 to $5,000. In case 11, we're going to reduce the $20,400 to $5,000. And in case 12, we're going to reduce the $1,118,500 to $35,000. So that the total owed is $100,000 instead of $116,000. How much time do you need?
Your Honor, I can pay 10,000. I don't even have money. You need 90 days for 10,000 because I don't have money. I paid $19,000 for one fourplex, just the water. They shut it off. They said, you don't pay, we don't give you water. Here for 3 properties, I paid about $16,000 for 1 year. I was at the Airbnb in a home away for 2 years. I didn't make any money. I was completely, even now, I'm afraid to rent anybody. I'm trying to sell. I cannot sell because I could have bought a building of 5 units for $300,000, and I lost $1 million, and you blocked me, and you understand, so I'll pay.
I appreciate that. What I'll do is I'll give you, what is 6 months? 180 days?
Yeah.
I'll give you 180 days to figure out what to do with it. All right.
Okay.
Those reductions, 180 days.
Can I make 10,000?
She's going to give you the orders so you can have them. And sir, I would definitely still recommend that you get some legal advice about what to do with your property, sir. All right, seeing no further business before us, this meeting is hereby adjourned.